Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to TraderTV.live. North American stock futures, little change for the second straight session here as investors dive into the first batch of big tech earnings that we got after market yesterday. We'll have a look at Microsoft, AMD, to name a few. There's a bunch to get through this morning on the earnings front, even reporting this morning, Boeing, for example, to the downside so far. We'll have a look at Tesla again this morning as well to the downside. We talked about the earnings for Tesla yesterday, for the most part, better than expected. Investors, though, kind of cautious around the amount of revenue that came from the Bitcoin side of things. $2.5 billion still in a Bitcoin position for Tesla. As I mentioned, Alphabet, Microsoft, AMD, all reporting aftermarket yesterday. Apple and Facebook on tap coming up after the close tonight. Facebook up nicely in the pre-market here. A little bit of news to talk about with them as well. And Starbucks reported not terribly active in the pre-market, but we're going to have a look at Starbucks as well. It's Wednesday, April 28th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. And there we go. Look at North American markets at this point. As I mentioned, little change here for the U.S. side of things. S&P 500 positive, the Dow, the NASDAQ slightly into negative territory. The TSX up 0.3%. Futures anyway. Brazil's open, trading higher as well. Bitcoin basically flat on the morning. Crude oil up about 0.8%. Yeah, look at Ethereum down there, 2.7%. To start the morning. Looks like an all-time high to kick things off once again today for ETH. Guys, good morning. It is Wednesday. It is the first of the, I guess, the two biggest earnings days of this reporting season. Lots to talk about this morning on the earnings front.
Yeah, monsters to the left of them, monsters to the right of them. Look, obviously, you guys are going to get that watch list, and there's so much to watch today and so much on tap. Don't be shocked that a few big earnings names might not have made the watch list. It's just what we think is going to be the most actionable today. It doesn't mean they're the only things to trade. So it should be, well, it's going to be an exciting day. I'm not even sure anyone, well, if people care about what the Fed does or is not going to do today. As long as they don't set off a taper tantrum, I think everyone is going to be absolutely happy to see they're going to do nothing. It's all about the language. It's really more about the movement in the earnings. I didn't feel too good about the Pinterest earnings, and it was even worse than I expected. Well, the result, even though the numbers weren't actually all that bad, the result was even worse than I expected, despite the fact that I thought it was going to sell a little bit. It sold more than a little bit here. So you have some of the downside. You mentioned Boeing there, but it's the upside plays. I think some people are going to be interested in watching AMD, Google, and of course Shopify as well, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, let's just hit the cowbells because we've been sounding the alarms for AMD now for a couple weeks. So yeah, I mean, we're just happy that that's turned out the way it is. And again, you know, big time earnings, big time beats here. This is the imbalance locator, not much happening, but yeah, there's AMD. Whoops, here's AMD here. Big movement. You know, you see the report come out, upside, breaks through. This is what we wanted. I was saying that to Brendan last night as we sat here and watched this. Is if we just had to get above 88 here on the daily chart, and it looks like we did that. I mean, does it fade back in? Who knows? You know, we've seen big reports come, and then stocks, you know, take out lows and do various things like that. I mean, I'm just happy that it was a good report instead of the other way around. I mean, we have no idea where this is going to go, but yeah, another big win for us here. And then Google, I said, you know, that was the largest holding in my position, so in my portfolio, so really happy with that one. And then Microsoft, actually pretty good earnings again for Softy. They're going to be hit about 2% here as we open. So let's just wait to see what happens. Still lots on board, man. Facebook coming, Apple coming. So yeah, look, we're super pleased with the way these earnings went, and I think it's also a day to watch MindMed as well.
It'll be interesting. Lots to talk about this morning. Some of the numbers that Google continues to post on the earnings side are just unbelievable. We'll talk about Google earnings here a little bit more in depth coming up. Before we do, let's get over to the desk and say good morning to Miss B.
Good morning, guys. So glad to see you all joining us today. I wish you a wonderful day, all the luck, and please make sure to like this video. Let's get it started, Brendan.
Yes, kick things off, guys, by liking this. And if you haven't done so, if you're joining us for the first time, subscribe as well. Let's jump into the top 10 traders here at Day Trade the World, the list from yesterday. Nice numbers coming out of North America to kick things off. Chicago CME futures action. NASDAQ in New York here, 29,500. Amex and NASDAQ, number 2. So the markets that were traded, and then the total number, 21,362. Look at Europe here at number 3. All kinds of different markets once again coming out of Europe, 16,000 total. The TSX in Toronto, NASDAQ, somebody maybe trading MindMed yesterday, 14,200. So lots of great opportunities, lots of volatility. You just got to be in the right spot, I think, at this point for this market. One of those, yeah, MindMed. If you joined us yesterday, we talked in depth with both J.R. Ron and Kevin O'Leary ahead of day number 1 for MNMD on the NASDAQ. We're up here significantly, guys, in the pre-market, but Reddit stepping in. There's new reports, or I guess some new mentions on Wall Street Bets yesterday.
Yeah, it was popular. Popular certainly because the volume was big as well. So, I mean, there was a lot of interest in the uplisting, but certainly popular online as well. And look, you did have that run up. You know, obviously, some people are going to obviously sell the news. You saw that occur. There was a couple of things that I'm watching immediately, because there was that halt down initially, and we were looking at that trade right at that 450 mark on the halt down. Then it reopened, and it was just the gangbusters, like, you know, bottom to top here. Once it reclaimed that 450, wasn't able to hold that level shortly after that. As you can see, made a fresh low at $4. But then in the afternoon, you know, sort of picked up the volume here, and then it turned into like a 450 resistance, which we're gravitating towards right now. And you kind of feel like, okay, a lot of selling came in on that first day. You get those wipeout lows on stocks. It's certainly going to be interesting to me if we can hold that 450 level, or I should say this 450 level, because it's on the offer right now. You kind of feel like this one has a shot to go. The other level, I mean, I'm going to be all over watching this. It's like 487. I'll call it like 485 to 490. And I'm talking about this to a couple people in the chat this morning as it ramped up into that range there and had a bit of a dip off of that price. So even if it gets past this, I feel like there's going to be like one little resistance spot to go before trying to reclaim some of this. I mean, first things first, it has to be able to hold a bid. This stock was, I mean, it's still up like over 10x. From when it was a penny stock the first time those guys came on the show, and you know, people are taking that profit and enjoying the euphoria. It is up 11%, just worth keeping in mind. Make sure you look at both the daily chart if you want to track, and you go back and look at it when it was on the pink sheets for historical prices, but make sure you note yesterday's price action as well, because up 10%, that's a drop in the bucket to the volatility that it had yesterday.
Okay, so yeah, we just put up our sticky note. Look, I think MindMed's a screaming buy here. You know, you just got to break some of these levels. I wrote down 470. That's the high there. But now that I look at it, when I bring it back to yesterday, I mean, you have 490 here. Looks pretty good as well. And you know what? Like, I'm on this Swaggy stocks. It's something that I go to for sentiment on Wall Street. And it's not even on here. Like, we could say whatever we want about MindMed and being a Reddit stock. It's not really yet. It's got to get to there. Like, it's not even, I don't even see it on here. Like, Pins is here, Rocket. Like, there's nothing. It's not on here yet. But, you know, if it gets going, I think that there is something there with MindMed. I'm a shareholder, and didn't dump anything yesterday. It's foolish. But you do get that 110% move in 3 days. And again, like, just rewind the clock, man. We talked about this just 2 days ago. I said, you know, probably worth selling something there in MindMed, especially after that second day bump. And then you get the list yesterday. And if you're lucky enough to get out, you know, once either in the pre-market or as soon as it basically opened up yesterday, that's a pretty cash idea right there. So we'll see if we get back to $5. I think we do that today. I like MindMed. I think there's a big potential there with the company. However, you know, it's just one of those things. I mean, you put your money into weed stocks, you see what happens. You need to get some sort of a release or some sort of momentum behind it. And if Reddit is that momentum, then I'm all aboard. So let's just wait to see if it does get going. Like, I want to smash. I will hit this 470, even if it hits in the pre-market. I'll hit it because we've done up to 1.8 million shares. So that's a little different than, you know, hitting a Starbucks or something that's light on volume this morning. So yeah, I like it, and I like it through $5. I like it through 490. I like it through 470, and I don't like it short.
All right, MVIS, headline coming out here on Microvision, guys. They're just talking about a long-range LiDAR test that has been completed. Looks like it was positive for MVIS. So just popping up here on volume now, 7% to the upside. This thing got absolutely crushed yesterday, if you remember. Important levels down here to support this thing, 20, 21 even. if it is going to try and bounce today. So heads up on Microvision if you're watching that. Let's bring in Mark Roberts, president of Sun Lake Strategies. We'll have a discussion on what he is looking at to start things off on a Wednesday. Good morning, Mark. It is, as I said, kind of the first of the first two big days of earnings here. So lots to kind of sift through this morning before we get to the open. But as far as the first look, I mean, AMD, Microsoft, not bad so far.
Yeah, it's a question of investors feeling as though has the stock price shown perfection? In other words, what could Microsoft do more than it's done? And in that case, you'll see slippage. Likewise, Google shows that it continues to crank higher with great news, and that's the one that looked the best. My playbook was exactly as it should have been. I'm long all of these, but I expected Google to outperform all of them.
I was mentioning to start things off this morning, some of the numbers that Google continues to produce on a quarterly basis are just unbelievable. The YouTube revenue is just through the roof again this quarter. So great look for Google. Let's talk about the market in general, more positive sentiment, I guess we can say, coming out both in the form of Biden's American Families Plan. That was more details released. There's more coming this afternoon, apparently, in regards to this, along with the Fed. Are we expecting anything here as far as language from the Fed?
I would say not. I would say the June meeting, around the 16th, I think it is, that's going to be the situation of concern. My feeling is that they'll slow down their buying of bonds into the end of the year. Look, let's be honest. What's happening at this point is the economy is starting to do better. We're getting closer to herd immunity in the U.S. Masks are starting to come off. It's becoming more relaxed. Whatever normal is, we're not sure yet, but we're closer to something we can call that than we were a month or two ago.
The new normal that everyone is going to be facing, definitely. I mean, the U.S. leading the way, I think, on that front. Let's talk a little bit on a higher time frame here. You know, we talk all the time about positive catalyst, positive momentum for the overall market. Let's maybe look the other direction today. We're sitting here basically at all-time highs once again for most of the U.S. indexes. Is there something kind of lingering in the background? You've mentioned a couple of times, you are expecting a bit of a sell-off into the early weeks of the summer. What is going to lead, if there is anything, that is going to push this market lower?
I think complacency may be part of it. I think the fact that guidance will be out, more companies are guiding. I think it's just the fact that we would have been stretched, and those that need to buy because they're in too much cash will capitulate at some point, driving us higher, and therefore the buyers will effectively quiet. There'll be less buyers and those that want to take profits. So I'm just looking for a normal course of events, not so much an event that will drive that market lower.
One more one name I want to throw at you, just to throw you on the spot here. Spotify was kind of quiet, with earnings. There were so many other ones to look at, both aftermarket yesterday and this morning. What are your thoughts on this Spotify report?
I think it's a tough call. I look at the indicators, and the 50-day had crossed under the 100-day about a month ago, told me to be really, really cautious. And then we couldn't get through the 100-day, which was about 305, 309. This is not a surprise. I think you've got room down to maybe 240, 250, and then I would take an aggressive look to the long side.
Mark, good morning. How are you, my friend?
Good, thank you. Yourself?
Good, not doing. Oh, you're wearing. I should have worn is that a salmon-colored shirt? Because
Salmon.
Oh man, next time, send me a message and I'll wear mine, and we can be twinsies here live on the show. But yeah, I hope you're feeling well, as we all are here. And it's hopefully, you talk about the reopen. we still don't even have golf courses open yet, Mark. So if you can believe that or not, you can't go to restaurants, you can't dine in, you can't even sit on patios here in the lovely country of Canada. I believe it's countrywide, definitely in Ontario. So we await the great reopen trade here for sure. Let's talk about, I did want to talk about AMD. That's what I want to talk about. Because AMD, a big monster number there. We saw last week, and this is what I want to talk about, was sort of the difference between Intel and AMD, right? Is that something when last week, I mean, here you go, here's AMD up 4%. Last week we had Intel come out with their quarter, missed horribly, and you've seen them on the daily chart just get hammered here, up high as 68. Report comes out and we just tank City down to 57 and probably going lower today. When you see something like that come out, and you read the report and you realize that their breakfast is getting taken by Nvidia and AMD and things like that, and they just don't have the chips to compete, so on and so forth. Intel. At what point, if you're in this name, and I don't know if you are or not, but if you are, at what point after you read the Intel report do you say maybe it's time to switch over to an AMD, or do you sort of wait for the report today from AMD, thinking that hey, maybe it's a semiconductor thing, it's a chip thing, and the whole sector will fall down? Like, what I'm getting at is that when you get an early report and it leads you to something, do you look to the competitors for bullish, bearish signs? Like, what did you do off that Intel report last week?
I was not proactive because I haven't traded in the space, but given that history of Intel underperforming,
right?
I would have jumped into AMD immediately.
Yeah.
So that's what I would have done. At this point now, if I was in AMD, I'd be taking profits in that 88, 89 area and waiting for the next pullback somewhere into 86.
Yeah, I've been recommending the buy here at these. I mean, it's the same thing that we always talk about, right? You get these dip areas, 75 to 80. It's just a fantastic area. And then we've had problems upside with AMD. So based on what you've seen today, you think this is a little bit too high for AMD? This is probably a sell the report type of play here, up 4%?
Sell, prune, wait for a pullback. Yeah, that's my interpretation. These stocks, depending on which ones you go into, I tend to follow Teradyne quite closely.
Yeah.
And Teradyne has done far better. Likewise, I'm always suspect of Texas Instruments, and Texas Instruments is going through what Intel went through right now. So you've got to be really careful in your positioning, but AMD has been the winner. Teradyne is a winner today. And Intel and Texas Instruments are a concern.
Yeah, my pick for all the viewers and we should do this maybe halfway through. Maybe we'll do that with you, myself, Neil, and Brendan. My pick for 2021 was not an equity; it was actually the SMH. So I did like that space, and I think that's a very, very safe way. Obviously, SMH, just for everyone, the semiconductors ETF, near all-time highs right now of around 260. So I do like that play. The other name was we had it on the screen earlier, was Coinbase. Has this found, and this is going to be really cheesy, but have we found a base now here in Coinbase around that $300? I mean, the daily chart looks ridiculous. Let's not even look at that. But we've dipped below 300 a couple times on the 1 or 2 3-minute charts here, and it's come roaring back. Like, we did have this one dip. Obviously, this is okay once it loads here down to 280 and change. But we've battled back, and now we're holding around this 300 level. Are we buyers of this a little bit later? Talking like near that 250 range where that reference price was. Are you hearing anything from any of the desks that you're on and speak with that maybe people are starting to accumulate yet in Coinbase?
I have not heard anything. I would want to see more volume. Volume has been consistently lackluster. That's a concern.
Yeah.
There's been no selling pressure, but there's been no buying power either.
You know what, Mark? Actually, you've added something to my toolbox here, actually, because you mentioned volume, and I have volume up here the last 3 days. You are 1,000% right, my friend. The volume here has been consistently dying on this name. This is a 3-minute chart, so 1 day, 2 day, 3 day. Yeah, the volume's not nice there for Coinbase. So yeah, good look there. I'm going to definitely keep my eye on, because I was going to reinvest, put some more money in Coinbase here, but I was thinking it gets to that 280 level. One last question. I just took the long right now in Mr. Softy. It's one of my favorite names to trade. I think it's so consistent as a trade, and you know, here when we do scalping and we're day traders, we don't have to take that much risk with Microsoft, because the volatility, as you know, not the same as a Facebook or you know, some of those other high-flying names. So I just took a long through 256. I thought the number was better. Their revenues beat. Their cloud business is just booming. So right now I'm long. I don't need you to comment on this particular trade here, but what do you think about Microsoft today? Is it one of those things we talked about yesterday, that it was pretty much priced probably to perfection? This has been a huge move up. I mean, it looks huge on the chart. It's not huge maybe, you know, numerically, but 230 up to 260 just in the last couple weeks. Maybe it was priced right for this report.
I think it was that 254, 255 area seems to want to give the buyers some credibility to come back in.
Yeah.
So the answer is I'd be doing what you're doing. Keep a tight stop. You don't want to take multiple point loss, but yes, I'd be adding.
Okay, well, we're just going to take a 25-cent win here on a third of them and then let it run to the highest spot. I agree with you that Google number was absolutely fantastic. Their cloud business continues to be, you know, the boomer that a lot of people don't consider. They think about YouTube. YouTube revenue's huge as well. But 5% move here, Mark, on a $2,400 name. Pretty incredible. We've already seen the move from January, $1,700 back in January to an amazing $2,500. That's about a 35–40% move. Is Google done now? Like, I think that I should take a little bit off here. This seems to be such a great run over the last 4 or 5 months. I don't normally advise taking, money off the table, but I'm wondering right now if sort of these, areas 2,500, like, is that a psychological level where we may get, and I thought maybe a stock split as well. What's your opinion quickly before I let you go here on Google?
I have a $2,800 target on the stock for the next 6 months. So the answer is yes, you could take some off, keep a core position, but I'm looking for another 300 to 400 point move here.
Yeah, you know why, Mark? It's turned out to be the largest holding now in my portfolio. So whenever that happens, kind of, not out of the blue, but it's, like I said, it's been a huge run there in the last couple months. And by the way, Mark, let's just hit the cowbell, because right now, Microsoft, 70 cents in the money on that little break. So a good move to start the day, and it's even a better move when we have you on the air. Thank you so much, Mark Roberts, Sun Lake Strategies, a friend of the show, and great insights as usual. Thank you, Mark.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
All right, guys, look at upgrades and downgrades for today. It's worth noting out of the gate here, all of these earnings names, there was multiple moves from multiple analysts, both directions. So heads up, yeah, AMD and Pinterest over there, but depends on how you look at it today. HSBC, Ralph Lauren, Viacom, an interesting one. A number of analysts talking positively on this stock now because of the size of the move that we had to the downside coming off that Archegos mess. So Citigroup upgrading Viacom here. UPS on this side as well. Earnings earlier in the week, guys.
And a lot of those earnings names certainly we're going to be talking about. One that did not report but just made a bit of a move here. AMC just broke through yesterday's low at 11.20. Just bottomed out at 10.90 here. I think they got, I'm not sure if AMD, the AMD downgrade, it is what it is. Sometimes you get great reports and then you get to too high of a price for some people. I just want to look at the 15 very quickly, because there was this level. We had a pullback on Monday after a big ramp up. And it was down to this 1080 level. So I kind of feel if there's going to be any bounce off this in AMC here, AMC, not to be confused, AMD, AMC, if it gets to that 1080 and give you a secondary bit of a bounce, a nice recovery could be in play. If it gets through 1080, you might see one of those like more sharp sell-offs, maybe down to that 10 to 1025 little cluster that it held to end last week. So AMC on the move. It wasn't on the watch list, but it just broke a key level just minutes ago.
Yeah, I've been talking about AMC for a bit here at that 8, 9, 10 level. Not 10, but 8 and 9. It's held. Yeah, I mean, a little bit of a volume spike here. Yeah, maybe nothing on AMC for today. Oops, not AMC.NQ. You got to refresh that. But that's that level. Once this loads up, guys, you guys know the level we're talking about. Right now, Microsoft 70 cents in the money. It's right down here. It's 8, 9, 10. Now you have the 50-period moving average right there at $10. So there's going to be a lot of support downside right now for AMC. Is the great reopen truly happening? If it is, get your popcorn and go to your local AMC and, spend the money that you've made hopefully on this stock. So I can't recommend it as a long-term hold, obviously. I don't hold it anymore. I was playing options and was able to get long before the Reddit hype, which was great. And, we cashed out some of that. So AMC right now, I like it, but I'd rather trade other names. Even GameStop. I mean, GameStop was crazy the last couple of days. Let's check out GameStop here quickly because it's not on our list. That 175, okay, there it is again. Wow.
Yeah.
I was going to say yesterday that 175 held, and we were able to, I think both Neil and I had that trade, of course, for you live on the show. It was right into this dip, and I credit Neil for it because he was like, oh, I'm long now, and I was like, okay, must be 175, and then we were able to take it.
Didn't go enough.
Yeah, and we did I was able to hold it to about this view up. I think it was 181 or change what we were looking for. But then, yeah, it does. You know what? I can't be too hating on that. It only goes to 183. And then there's the break in the afternoon, and we actually didn't look at it for our 315 show, but that's a good hold downside. So just looking at this now, Brendan, kind of out of nowhere, GameStop does have that nice bottom of 173 here. So that could be a hold. If you like GameStop and AMC, I would trade GameStop here off that 170 level.
Yeah, huge volume yesterday coming off of that offering as well that we talked about. So definitely one to have a look at today for GME. Otherwise, if you haven't done so already, make sure you head over to that link. Sign up for the watch list, guys. It's absolutely free to you. Every single morning we talk about everything you need to know in the pre-market as far as what is moving around and how to get you started for the trading day. We discussed Microsoft there in depth, so let's kick things off with AMD. Good report for AMD beating top and bottom lines. Even the forecast, full year forecast, revised to the upside here.
If it was any other stock, I mean, like, if it was any other stock in any other situation, I sat down, I was like, wow, this move into like 90, you get the gap to the upside, and look, aftermarket 88.70, we'll come back to in a second. I would have probably been shorting like 89s if it was any other stock in any other situation, but tend to do that in small cap stocks, but that setup looked really, really good at the time. I am looking back to, and actually, I want to go to the daily charts for a quick second because there was this break when it made the run at 100, and I look at the support, the temporary support that was at 88.50 to 88.75. And then I kind of said, okay, well, that's going to be a key price for me. That was the top end of the range before it reversed off of that 100 and gave you that entry point that Sean was mentioning. So I got to look to that level. It's also going to be that pre-market low, that 88.50. I think if there's any kind of a bounce there at 9:30, that's going to give you a bit of an actionable long trade. There is some cover behind it because you can look at the post-market levels where it dipped into like 87.50, 88 on a pullback, and then some buying stepped into it. But the first look is going to be that, I guess, the support level on the bounce to 100 on the daily chart, and that's going to be that 88.50, which could come to play rather quickly. I do think there's a chance maybe at a rollover off of 90, although there's a couple things I like short today, and I'm not sure that I want AMD to be one of them. If you can't guess, we're going to be looking at, I'm already in one, and we'll talk about some other ones. I mean, Pinterest didn't have very good earnings. We alluded to that earlier, but I like that 88.50 level on AMD. It's just closer than I expected at the open.
Yeah, the only thing I wrote down here, and we posted up to sticky note, was AMD back to 88. That's all that we wrote down. So I think we're thinking the same thing. If we can get this name back to 88 here. Look, that run to 100 though is kind of fugazi, Neil, because honestly, it didn't even really. It's more back here like these runs, and I know this one didn't really even happen because I sat here and watched it. It was kind of a joke. That was their last earnings report. It spiked up and hit there, but like what Neil was talking about, these levels here, very, very key in my opinion. Like if we ever get anywhere near 100, I think it's worth selling again. But we're still a little far away. I mean, there's still 10% to go until we get to these levels. fundamentals, that report seems to make sense to me. I mean, higher expectations, strong demand. I'm just reading the notes that are on our watch list, and you guys can get the watch list for absolutely free. We'll show that in a minute. I don't have the button up. The company projected second quarter revenues 3.6 billion, which is higher than the 3.3 billion expected. So you're already seeing it rip to the high side right now on the minute chart for what's happening right here. I do have bids lower. I never got filled. I mean, I didn't put it as low as 88.44. I put it much lower. Sorry, put it much lower than 88.44, like 88.10s, 88.15s, waiting for this thing to pull back. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna watch AMD. We've seen us get burned on taking breakouts, and that's the one thing that I wrote on here. Like everything is wait. Like I'm just trying to learn that. So like Microsoft 256, wait. I'm in that already. So. There goes that idea. Starbucks, watch the open, and then AMD, try to play it back to even. So, you know what? I think you got to be a little bit patient with these, although we've already taken the winner and we took the Microsoft long. I think you got to be patient with some of these names. Really big win, man. We'll hit the siren alert, and we'll say thank you to everybody that was trading AMD with us. All I've been saying, Brendan, the last 4, 5, 6 days, and we all know this anyways, is that AMD was probably going to beat, and I'm happy to say 5% looks pretty good to me.
Only concern is need to have some more. Let's talk about the overall market here. We'll bring Arun in, have a look at the futures, and see where we are at. Again this morning, Arun, we're starting things off kind of flat here ahead of the Fed.
Yeah, we're pretty much where we were yesterday when I was talking about ideas. And it's the same thing like yesterday, anything above 41.85. I'd look for some shorts if we can get a proper setup with the 4,200 stop. Again, my concern is the amount of stops that are up there. So I really want a good setup if I'm going to take the short side of this. Now, to the downside, anything below 41.70, if I can get a setup, going down to 41.60 as a stop. That worked out well yesterday. So you saw the market, if it dipped below 41.70, around 41.70, it bounced right back. So if you're willing to play that tight range, then 41.70 going down to 41.60 is available for longs, and then 41.85 to 4,200 is available for shorts. Keep in mind, like you said, Brendan, Fed, that's going to be the big mover today. Everyone's going to be looking to see what changes have been made, because more than likely, the interest rate decision, the interest rate itself is not going to be that big mover. It's going to be future projections and the rate of changes, or if there's any changes at all in terms of wording. So that's what people are going to be looking at. And towards the close, we're going to be looking at Facebook, right? We have Apple and Facebook coming out, but Apple always reports well after the close. So that's not really a big issue. So Facebook's the big mover, and that's a big, decent part of the index especially with the NASDAQ futures. So that will move that index, and that's towards the close. And then you have a 2 p.m. with the Fed. And then until then, you kind of are stuck right back in this range trade. If you can find a trade within the range that sets up, and go for it, as long as the risk reward ratio sets up. And I think that's the key there, is that when you're in a range like this, you do have to be worried about, you have to factor in that risk reward ratio of your wins, or of each one of your trades. You don't want to be taking much larger risks than what you can potentially make on the trade. So you do want to watch that as well. But for now, we're going to be ranging between 4,200 and 41.60 on the edges, and waiting for the Fed and Facebook towards the close.
Thanks so much, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning, guys. Yeah, under 30 minutes to go here. Let's continue along. Lots to get through before we get this market open this morning. Starbucks Corporation reporting earnings. That's kind of disappointed here. It's not terribly active in the pre-market, guys, but they did close a lot of stores, especially here in Canada during that quarter's 300 locations closed in Canada, which, from time to time when a company does that, ends up being a positive because of lower costs, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, certainly. I was reading a little bit. There's some increased competition when it comes to look. Growth has been big for them in China, and there's some increased competition in China that they are facing, especially in the tea market, which I can't say I'm well versed on, despite being a tea drinker. But I know that was a little bit of concern. And then a lot of times, and we've probably said this before, a lot of times, you take a bit of a signal off a stock, which is giving you like a double top, and some signals that it's trying to roll back a little bit. And, it's the fact that it's going to sell off in that type of a formation isn't terribly surprising. Maybe you get a shot to get down and get some value down in like the maybe the 105 to 110 area. That's a great cluster for this stock. I just want to quickly, if I can, just to jump away from this, because a couple of trades on, and I got one of them here. Someone asked about what's the plan for our IBT. I said there was a decent chance that it could gap up yesterday, and I want to short it off that 145. It doesn't even quite get there. It did make that move from like closing at about $1.20 or so and getting to 110 in the pre-market. Got up to 135. The afternoon top that we shorted was about that 145 to 150 area. I just picked up some 35s to the short side. I'll play inside of the range for now until the open and not average in if it makes a push to 140. But it is up 11%. Just keep in mind, show you the context. This was a $1 stock that went to 185 and then gave it all back. So I think it should be at least a little bit weak today, especially as it hovers below that 140 to 145 range.
Yeah, so Starbucks, yeah, I mean, good talk there. I mean, all those levels made a lot of sense. Obviously, look, closing stores. I remember when Target was here in Canada. Thank you, Maggie. I remember when Target was here in Canada. By the way, this alkaline water is really tasty. We'll talk about that in a minute. So yeah, Starbucks, 115. That's the level that I'm looking at here. We bounced around there a couple times. They come out and miss. But the thing about it is, the highlight to me is the company raised annual forecast and revenue profits, right? So I believe that with the reopen, and again, unfortunately, in Canada, we have not reopened yet, and I'm hoping that's going to be soon. I definitely want to hit the links up, that's for damn sure. But you know what? I think on reopen, that the theory does make sense. More people, going to work, more people on the streets, more people back in cafes. I mean, a big part of Starbucks is the fact that they give that free Wi-Fi. People sit there and spend, money on the food, on the drinks. They give free refills for coffee, things like that. So, I think that Starbucks has a huge runway to the upside. However, the run that it's been on lately, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Microsoft there, other than the fact that we've ticked down the last couple days. It's just been such a monster. Like, from 104, that's 20% this year. You even go back to August, you're almost, you're like 60% up since August, maybe even more, like $77, $78, and you're just crushing along this 50-period moving average. So I like it breaking back through 115 right here, and that's going to be a trade that I look at. But like we keep saying all the time here, the volume right now, it's only as opposed to Microsoft Watch, 40,000 shares there, and then here's Softy, if I can click it. 1.2 million. So yeah, a big difference there in volume. No idea why Starbucks is so low volume, other than the fact that I guess it was just a blah earnings report. And when that happens, man, you gotta wait. And that's why we put on here, wait for open. You gotta wait for the open. Check the sticky note on Twitter, but I'm gonna wait. If that 15 gets breached, then I'm gonna go long, but it's a wait and see for sure.
All right, let's go to Pinterest. Yeah, we talked about briefly there, but down sharply here in the pre-market after earnings disappointed. Although I was just having a look at the daily chart here. We're getting into significant levels here for support anyways on the daily time frame, 67 to 69, trying to get back above pre-market highs here, but yeah, not good for pins so far.
Yeah. SSR. I mean, we talked yesterday. I don't know if I see Tyrone on there, and he was asking a little bit about Pinterest, and I said, yeah, I was concerned about it. And you had that sell-off, and again, it was from this 85. And you go into like a couple of weeks ago when you had this 85 level and just the lower high being put in, the sell-off starts coming. You got to think about the fact that, and this is what they talked about and what drove it down, as the reopen comes through and people aren't sitting around at home, I mean, that's less engagement online. And if that's your sole area of business, that's not going to be a good look for you guys. I mean, LinkedIn made I think 50% more in ad revenue than Pinterest did. And Microsoft does a million things. I mean, Pinterest, this is all they do. So I love the stock, and I said it earlier in the week, you have to not care about where you necessarily bought something, because a lot of times you can have a home run trade and say to yourself, yeah, but who cares? I'm still deep in the money. I shouldn't be taking anything off, and it's not going to go down, and it won't go down that far. But managing positions, as Mark says, and as talked about on the show, you don't get too complacent. I actually thought I would come in today, sort of more thinking about hammering the short side of the trade. Thinking it'd be down like probably like 7 or 8% initially, and then we'd get into some of these like 65 to 66 levels and start thinking about defenses at that point. That could come a little bit faster than I anticipated. So I am looking at that 65, 66 level for a bit of a bounce back, long opportunity. I still think there might be some room to run into the short from there, but I was kind of really having a hope that we'd be in this like 71 to 71.50 range, and we could be shorting off 72. It just feels like it's too far away from me. And again, you preach patience, though, Sean. I don't know that I can jump into the short right here at 69.20. where it's sitting right now, I might have to let it pop back into that 71.50 before I participate in that. There is the bottom break at 68. Like I said, there's room to that 65, 66 area. That's just not as appealing a risk to reward trade when it was down even more than I anticipated. So I'd much rather be involved in shorting any kind of a pop that it might get. I'm not even saying that that's necessarily going to happen. From a long-term standpoint, I mean, look, they're not going anywhere. They're great at what they do. Everything else was a B. I mean, EPS wasn't a miss. Revenue was actually quite solid. They just guided poorly and gave the exact reason why. So sometimes you're honest, and the street doesn't like it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's going to be a tough run for Pinterest here. I mean, down that 10%. The only thing, I mean, everything that Neil said makes a lot of sense. I like the company. There's nothing, I mean, they're one of those online companies, right? I mean, they've got their revenue models. It's a pullback of advertising, and we'll just see. I don't think they're going to be. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they're guiding wrong, like almost like sandbagging, because like Pinterest's still very popular, and I don't believe like their note that because the pandemic is over, it's gonna like. I think people will still be checking Pinterest. They're so. I don't know, whatever. It's a board. You guys know Pinterest. Very, very good name. The only thing I wanted to point out to you guys was that now that we are down that 11%, and I'm not sure if Neil touched on this, and just for you new viewers, it's what we call SSR, so short sale restricted. So if you did want to get short, and Neil and I, although we're both looking long and short, depending on the levels here, you may not get the shares. So the thing is that you have to get filled on the offer if you're going to get filled, meaning that let's just say 68's come or you want to go short 68.50. Well, you're not going to be able to send an offer at, like right now, you can't get short 97. You have to get short 99s or 98s. You have to get short on the offer, right? And so that may provide people with a little bit of juice to the upside if people can't short it. But again, maybe we can find out. I mean, I'll load up our trade ideas thing here to find out the shortable interest. That's the other thing. If the shortable interest is quite high here, this, if it doesn't go down and it bounces off 68, this thing could explode higher because, again, a lot of shorts will have to cover their shorts. So as Bart Simpson says, eat my shorts, Pinterest. Where the hell did that come from?
I don't know.
I want to short
We'll
it
see
today.
how many shorts they have here in a second, guys. I'm just trying to find out. Yeah, let's move on for a second here. Visa next on the list. Another one reporting aftermarket yesterday. Good numbers for Visa, but another one that's kind of down off of the aftermarket highs from the report, but still in positive territory here. It was 1.38 billion per Class A share. For the quarter, beating estimates. So yeah, 1.38 billion versus 1.27 billion expected.
It's not too late. I mean, the thing about the credit card companies is they're all doing this without the benefit of international travel coming back. I think that's probably the thing that you're going to hear everyone talk about there. So you're probably buying this one on any strength. Look, the issue with Visa, and it's probably less than Starbucks. I want to say for sure it's less than Starbucks. 27,000 shares in pre-market volume. That means it's going to be. This is more of a hold stock and more of an investing stock than it is necessarily a vehicle for trade. But if it gets anywhere close to maybe testing down below like 230, you start thinking about like maybe it'd be worth like picking it up if the market's going to roll over a little bit here. It is that Fed day, so a lot of times that first. I guess that initial move at 9:30 can be around 9:30 at the open, can be one of the biggest ones. So you get some severe dips. Maybe that would be interesting to me. But Visa love what they do. Pick any name across the space. Once travel starts getting back and more robust internationally, you're going to see some strong recovery. Even though they're already at the top, and there's certainly room to run with this name. I just don't see the day trade on a day like today where it's earnings Armageddon. You got to pick the ones that have volume, as Sean said.
Yeah, no, 100%. Oh, shoot. I just had that trade. Yeah, I mean, we talked about the volume there with Starbucks and how it didn't look great. So here is the short float there, 3.63%. This is according to Trade Ideas. The earnings data, of course, today, after market yesterday. Yeah, so there it is right there, 3.6%. So that is obviously a short float, but nothing, in my opinion, to worry about. We talked about if Visa missed,
More now.
then I would look at AXP. Obviously, 1,000 shares done today, but I just prefer American Express. What was their slogan? Don't leave home without it. Well, no one's been leaving their home. So now that they can leave their home, I hope they bring their American Express. I'm not in the name. I just prefer it more than Visa and MasterCard.
I thought that was don't steal home without it, Sean.
For baseball? Yeah. Maybe. Good one there. Is that a Blue Jays thing? What is
That's
that?
from Major League, man. Wesley Snipes, Willie Mays Hayes.
Willie Mays Hayes. Yeah, the best base stealer of all time. Willie Mays Hayes. Major League 1, 2. I mean, those are movies where they actually, the second one, the sequel, was actually pretty good. They're both great. But yeah, shout out to everybody there. I like what was it? Bronson. Oh, who was the third base guy? Pretty famous guy.
Tom Barrington.
Barrington, Bronson, something.
No,
like
I think that's a catcher.
Behringer?
Tom Behringer is the catcher.
Who cares?
Well, it doesn't matter.
Check it out, guys. Major League. If you haven't seen that movie and you're a sports fan, then you have to. That's for sure. Great flick.
Let's go to Spotify technology. We have to, move on. Spotify technology is no good way to do it. Down 8% here this morning. Seems like a lot for Spotify. I mentioned it with Mark there. He seemed to be slightly confused on this matter as well. The report seemed okay. The subscriber number was up 21%. Revenue rose 2.15 billion versus 1.8. So, I mean, it's hard to find a negative here, but 8% to the downside, guys, for Spot.
It's hard not to want to just go 272 long on Spot. And it's a little bit easier, like you said, I mean, and Mark talked about it as well. It even bounces right into like last week's, not quite to that 260 from last week, but the higher low that it put in certainly off of like 263, 264. There's already been a little bit of a bounce there. And I'll just come to like the one so you can see. There was, I don't know, this is 100,000 shares of pre-market volume, which is a little better than we've seen when we talked about Visa and Starbucks, but it's not a tremendous amount, but I still see that level forming at 272, sort of prime for like a bit of a gap fill the other direction. So I know it's a bit counter trend here. It just feels like everyone has said, that's a little bit too much for Spot. I kind of feel like there's room to go down in Pinterest, and I feel a little bit of a different way, and I still like the stock. I feel a little bit better about this one going long if it gives it to you off the open on a 272 break. Seems like it's headed in the other direction, so maybe there is a defensive 260 coming, but that's not what I anticipated at all.
Let's just go over. Yeah, no, I mean, again, Spotify, good talk here. I think there's a little bit more interest right this second on MVIS. Microvision. I wrote down on here 2150, and that was before. Like it's unbelievable because that news dropped and it didn't really follow it through, which was crazy because we're sitting here doing a lot. But there's that 2150 level yesterday, bounce, and then bounce there. I mean that's 2130, but 2150's held right into the teeth here, and that was such a great move to the upside there. And again, the news and completion of its long-range LiDAR sensor hardware development. So there is some, I guess it's positive. They've completed it. Whether or not it was a success or not, we'll find out. But it looks like people think maybe it was. $23, I think, is worth the crack here for a break. Obviously, I've missed this play. If you get back into this area, 2180, like right where VWAP is, 2190, 22, like I'm going to be putting some bids down here. But it may, again, without knowing much about this story, I really want to play momentum here on MVIS, so I think there's something there. But, this is the consolidation area, so I think you got to get long around here, 21, 22, and then see what happens. If we break below here, then I'm gone. So 2160, let's give it to 2150 on the low side. Let's take MVIS. Let's not take it now, but maybe we'll take a piece now, but I would much rather, put some more risk in this area, 22, just because we have this little bump up here. So if that can hold, then we know we have something. So small piece right now, more pieces down here, and then a piece out if it breaks back down below 2150.
All right, Facebook here up in the pre-market this morning as well, catching the Google pop, I guess, in the aftermarket yesterday. Earnings tonight for Facebook. They did come out announcing a couple of changes to both the Facebook platform, introducing some more e-commerce availability, I guess, for some creators on Facebook as well as Instagram. But the big news, guys, obviously, FB reporting aftermarket tonight.
Yeah.
Hello.
My first look would be like in a flat market when the move up is basically almost entirely due to a reaction to Google. There's a decent chance you can get a roll at like 309. Basically where it is right now, pre-market lows. Also a bit of a top there in the aftermarket. I think you just get a little bit of profit taking. It's just like, okay, overnight action and then sell back in if we're not going to have a gigantic range in futures. And we've seen several names do absolutely nothing going into earnings, right? We talked about this with Tesla. So I wouldn't be shocked if all you saw was, Facebook dropping off a little bit, breaking that 309, coming back in a couple of bucks and then just not being nearly as volatile as you expected today. I think I'd rather be trading the names that have the earnings today, but if this was a different scenario where they had a beat and were lagging Google by a couple of percentage points, you'd be looking at like 310 breakout all day long here. I just don't have that. I don't have that look on this one, so I'm going to stay away from Facebook today. If there is a significant enough dip, fine. I'd go 6. I just don't think that's very likely.
I mean, that's going to be a big earnings report there for Facebook today. The run that they've had has been pretty epic. Here goes MVIS. We did take that long, guys, right where we said we would. I mean, as soon as I talked about it, I punched long. Whatever. I mean, we're in the money now at 15 cents. So let's just see if we do take out that 23. I think it's worth putting an offer here and then going longer through 23. We already have that order to go. So if we break through 23, we're going to get out. We're going to get longer. So what that means is I'm going to put an order here like 80. Right basically right here. If we can get 80s on this move and take 40 cents clean, we'll do that, and then we'll play it longer through $23.
All right, let's move on, guys. We'll jump down to Boeing. Maybe Boeing out this morning with their quarterly report. It was, for the most part, right across the board, better than expected, even with these recent issues that we were talking about, this additional electrical problem with the 737. What do we think of Boeing here, guys? Another one that's not terribly active in the pre-market.
Was that the airplane thing?
I mean, yeah. Okay, first of all, here goes MVIS. We're at 80s. So Boeing right now, let's check out the imbalance locator. Sometimes that can tell the story for Boeing, and we really haven't done that yet today. So hold on a second. Let's check that out. BA. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing on here. We could sort it by alphabetical. Oh, my God, this may take a while. Wow, there's a lot of names out there. I think there's over 3,000 or 4,000 stocks. BA, there it is right there. So small. It hasn't even paired off anything. So what this means is you basically add these two together, paired volume plus current volume, which is the size. Hey, right beside Baba, what's up? So those, not too much action there. Only 70,000 shares roughly between the two of them. So not exciting at all as we'll look. Oh, now it's still sorted by size. There it is, LYG Ford with a nice little buy. Okay, so Boeing, look, Boeing comes back in. I mean, that's just what happened today. You're down that 1.3%. As far as looking at a chart, I mean, I don't think the report was horrible, but the chart here tells us that we are this is what I use. You guys know that. Right now, MVIS, 22 cents in the money. This 50-period moving average of 240, right? So that's like right where we're at. So I was expecting Boeing to move a little bit off this earnings report. It doesn't appear to want to do that. So I don't know. I want to buy it more, but I guess we'll have to wait. Now that it's below the 50-period moving average, I can't recommend that we buy these levels. I would much rather, now that we're below it, I mean, let's see if we're going to go below it, but I think we could see a 220 maybe, 220, 230, something like that. The big play for these guys would be the fact that we're looking to buy planes. We've already seen Southwest, I think United, AAL also purchasing new planes. They still have some issues, though, getting the 737 going. There was some reports, I guess a couple weeks ago, that they have to look at that again. So we're going to wait on the 737, but I was expecting China to put forth a few deals. So disappointed that didn't happen as of yet, but 244 right here. See this high? 244. We've touched 244 a couple times. So let's call it 245. I think a 245 break, and we can then go long. MVIS, I'm right here, guys. Like, I'm actually weighted for 88s. I don't know why I did that. Let's switch over to 80 and just take a 40-cent clean win here on MVIS.
Yeah, I basically can't even add anything to that Boeing. A good look there, Sean. Only because there's 7 minutes left and it's been sitting in the bottom end of my my board there, so I should probably get to it because it's not on the watch list, guys. So PLX, if you're interested in this name, it's down 42%. This is a farmer. They actually received what's called like a CRL, a complete response letter that was negative on one of their drugs from the FDA, and so they're getting absolutely crushed. This is a major drug in their pipeline, obviously. And it's going to be short sell restricted. There's some room, I think, to the downside still, obviously, if I went into the short trade. A lot of times you look at this and you get a move up that's basically based on optimism around a drug. There's a $3 support level and then a $2.80 support level, which is about 10% down from where I'm short now. That's why I got into it off this 340 area. And I'll give it to about that 365 at the open. See if it can't track down into $3. But yeah, you look at it down 40%, and sometimes you say, well, shouldn't you think it can come back? No, that's terrible news for them. They're going to have to go back and respond to all of the concerns around that drug.
All right, one more to have a look at. ADMA right at the bottom of the list today. 250 to 260 as a consolidation area here on the daily chart. So just watching that. It's stalled out at 240, the initial push. So 250 above that, 260, the top end of the range for ADMA. There's tons of liquidity on this and tons of volume as well. So if it does want to get going, easy to size up on ADMA today, guys.
Yeah, tons of liquidity is an understatement. I just look at, the bid ask is like 60,000 on the top gateway. Basically at all times when I look at the level 1 on that ADMA, I'm kind of waiting for it to maybe test or at least retest the high off of the open. There's a couple of names that we did not, well, we already got to that's on the watch list, but I just want to come back to MindMed because I sort of had the same look as you, Sean. I said, but I really thought we need to hold this price area at 450. And since then, it's just been slowly grinding down towards, past the pre-market low in towards yesterday's close, which was at $4. And the entire time, there's just been offers, they're throwing like 10, 20, 30,000 shares at a time every 5 or 6 cents. So there's been some, slow grind down selling that if it does like a flush off the open, 450 is now like 15 pennies away. I start thinking about, okay, does it dip into $4 even at the open? And then that's similar to post halt that we had yesterday off of that 450 level. You look for the same thing at 9:30 at about that $4 range. So it's a little bit of a different look because we've come down off that 450 level in MindMed. Let's see if there's another one of those flushes that gives a nice buy opportunity if it goes a little bit too far too fast.
Yep, yeah, I just had MindMed up as well. I'm bidding some 4s here. Let's just see if it holds. And then we do have yesterday's bottom of 380 that I'm not going to let it even go to that wick. I just think if we get out here at around 380, if that's the problem. Okay, what the, oh my God, like Boeing, this is unbelievable. Like, just saw this note, like Boeing CEO on CNBC says it will advocate Biden administration on trade with China. Like, that's exactly, that was the rhetoric that I just spewed there. So, Boeing, if you need a new CEO, I'm not available. Okay, 22.80 right now. We just took out the majority of our position there on NVIS. I still do want to hold. You're going to see me holding some. That's basically exactly face slapped to the point that we called, man. I said we'd get some out at the high, which we did. We were waiting for 88s, got greedy at the very high, and then managed to get 75s there. So a good win, 39s to 75s. We'll take that, and then we'll wait to see what happens on a pullback. We do want to get more long now. So it's still going to show me long. I still have shares, but we took them out there. That was the move that we wanted. So let's now see if MVIS can hold this level, 2160. We could still lose on the stock, right? I do want to buy in here. So, if you do see me go long through there, that's what's going to be good. MindMed, you just talked about that. I did want to check back on pins quickly because we do have, oh God, I thought it broke 68 there.
No,
okay.
not yet.
We do have a 68 break. That's probably going to happen. So again, happening off open, I don't love that trade, but that may be the only chance that we get there. And again, with only a 3% short float, I don't love the fact that this thing could pop up too much higher right now. So I do like that one. So MVIS and Microsoft, the only names that were in position right now. I still think Microsoft takes out some of these highs anyways. And we do have, I do have an offer around 257. So let's see if that can go. Those are my 2 positions right now. And looking for more, man. We're looking for AMD. We've got some low bids on that as well, but that's not coming in. Bidding near 88s on AMD, guys.
Yeah, and I threw some bids here on Ribbit. I'm going to start calling it RIBT, which I now pronounce correctly. I was bungling it all day yesterday. It did pop up again to 137. I got some more shares on the way in at 134. It's getting a little bit late to start averaging into any kind of a short on strength. You already mentioned that, Pinterest. I think it's got to be on the mind today. It's hard to look at a stock and say, okay, it could go down further, but it certainly could. I am actually sitting around, and I want a starter position just to make sure I don't miss out if it breaches that 71. So if it gets back up to here, I do want to short it off of a move like that. So I kind of just throw a few shares out there so there's no chance that I miss it. I did a similar thing when we were looking at Peloton the other day, and it was just one of those, I know I want to shorten any strength, so I want to make sure I get any kind of an offer in there in case you do get that little bit of a bump. Just to come back to MindMed, which is another name that I feel like we're going to be interested in off the open. Just a couple of seconds ago, we were talking about down into 4, and then just an alert here. With a minute to go, volume spike, and it pops right back to that 450 range. So from this point on, if it does this, I almost want to play it by ear. I don't want to be sitting in front of, I liked it better sitting in front of 4 when it was slowly grinding down to 425. When it gives that little pop, 50 cents in, there's a decent chance that I might want to start that maybe at like a 411 or something like that, a little bit higher up. If it tests that 485 to 490, that could be worth a bit of a quick fade. That was a level in the afternoon.
Okay, yeah, no, I mean, MindMed, I still have this 470. The order's ready to go. Good thing we didn't get into there. It stopped at 460, or I'd be long right now, 10 cents out. So, okay, a couple good trades there. We talked about Pinterest as well. I mean, why don't we just keep it on MindMed? What am I doing? There's MindMed. So let's watch this as we get ready to open. With only 15 seconds left, AMD pulling back a little bit as well. We'll see about getting some long AMD into this pullback right now. But with only 10 seconds to go, who's on the board?
Maggie.
There she is, Maggie. With only 5, 4, 3, 2,
and 1. Let's get it started.
All right, there we go. So instantly into the short. Thank you, Maggie. Instantly into the short there on Pinterest. 69. What do we get there? 68.91. So let's wait to see if Pinterest wants to take out the bottom now. We do have 68.91s on pins, guys.
You got filled? I must have missed a fill. I'll have to check back to see if I didn't bungle my stop order. But MindMed instantly sliding down here now, only about to 435. So that 425 where it ramped up looks like it's going to be a bit of a support level. I did get one fill alone on that PLX. So it is starting to head to the downside. But I'm watching MindMed most closely to see if it breaks that 425 and I can catch a bit of a dip.
Okay, so there goes, I mean, Pinterest right now coming to the bottom now, 68 and change. So let's wait to see. We have 50 cents in the money right now and still tanking. So let's see. We're still going to go short through 68, but a nice fill there. Let's just wait to see where that one wants to go. MVIS, so we did exactly like we said, man. Oh my God, I'm bidding 2150. We got, or 2180. It went to 2185. That's okay. Let's see if MVIS goes up right now. MVIS long, Microsoft. Bang! Look at that fill there on Microsoft. I mean, there it is. We go with the banger right off the open, man. I said I was sitting at 257. There's the fill. Big win for that name. Big win right now for Pinterest. Let's just see if MVIS can hold.
And watch Spotify, no break at 272, but it might actually test that bottom. 264 was the pre-market low. We showed on the daily chart yesterday. And post-market was 262 that it looked like. Pinterest did break the low there. There it goes. It finally actually broke the low. I waited for that 68. I wanted to buy up to 90 to 71. That, of course, never happened. So shorting through low of the day on Pinterest. And still watching MindMed. No real move just yet.
Yeah, no, it looks like also, guys, on the downside here, we do have MVIS. So we'll wait to see. We do take an AMD long as well, MVIS long, and there goes Pinterest. I must have missed the short there through 68. So, or I didn't even have the order out, apparently. So that's a mistake. But we are now $1 right now in the money. So it's a hot dog cannon kind of day for us right here on Pinterest. There's the break through 68, man. This is exactly what we called. And see ya. There goes Pinterest, man. Hallelujah. Raise the cup up. $1.50 now in the money on Pinterest. Let's go to the downside on this name, guys.
Yeah, I guess I'm taking some profit off on that one. It certainly looks like it's going to be good. I'm definitely surprised at MindMed here. I really did think it was going to make some kind of a push down through that low. It's held it now a couple of times in the 1 minute here, just so you can see off the open at 425. It might be worth one quick look off of that level just to see if it holds 25s and then a reversal, just almost like a scalp trade reversal. So I just grabbed 31s here. I'll risk 5 or 6 pennies, then see if there's a quick little move into that $4 range that we liked before. But not a heck of a lot of action on MindMed. If I would have bounced off it, here's that 25 right now.
Man, we are just monsters right now. Like MVIS, we get that 80 print, man, and now we're just rocking to the upside. We also took that $1.80 or whatever, $1.50 on Pinterest, so that's a big win. Microsoft, there goes AMD. AMD flushed there. So this is what we talked about, man. We tried, not big positions. We wanted to wait for AMD. That's why we wrote on here, man. AMD back to 88. So those are the levels that we want to. There goes MVIS. $1 now in the money on MVIS, guys. This stock just rocking to the upside right here. Looks like we may have gotten out a little bit too early on our AMD. We'll hold that, but MVIS for the win today. FTW.
Yeah, I just took I'm going to try to take the rest of this Pinterest out in front of the 67 level, which it's not a gigantic bid, but it's a bit of a stack bid at 67. I did think 65, 66 was a good defense level. If that's going to be true, I have to cover the trade there at 67 in front of that 66. If it breaks, I'm looking to pick up a long, and I just threw my bids out in Spotify as well. only to see, and again, I'm talking about that pre-market low, only to see it reverse about 40 cents away. So the dip buy probably came first on Spotify relative to Pinterest at least, but did not catch me with it. And of course, I get out of MindBet, and it still does absolutely nothing. So it's consolidating at that low 425. If it breaks, watch out below. You're looking at $4 soon. Brendan?
Guys, MVIS, let's go. Brendan.
Real quick, guys, one of the airlines reporting here after market yesterday. Spirit Airlines just popping up on a volume scanner back higher. So we were lower after earnings missed. Pandemic, if you missed it. 36 breaking right now, though. Save moving higher.
All you need to do is trade one stock and you make that. So look at MVIS. What is up with you? MVIS. Watch out, Valeria. Yeah. There you go. Good warning there. MVIS, just monster move to the high side right now. MVIS, it's the only stock I'm concerned about. Unfortunately, we did dump our Pinterest. Not unfortunately. We got it a little bit too early. We'll take that $1.50 and put that in our pipe. But right now, guys, MVIS, big move upside. Let's take out a little bit more here and just watch this thing fly. Big time trading already. This was a small piece there at 23. Wish it was a bit more. We could have cashed out like crazy there. But that was because we were looking at the break in the pre-market, right? So I wonder if it's out of energy right here. MVIS to the upside, big win, man. Our best out was 23.06 right here. So there it goes. Let's see if it wants to fly again. High 23.60, big win alert, MVIS.
And a bit of a bounce here. Pinterest did bounce off that 67, but that's not even much. There was a stack bid at that price. You get up to like 67.50, so there's still possibly room to that downside. I'm going to hold off on even thinking about a long trade until it breaks that 67. I feel like we didn't talk about Ocugen, at least I don't think. But big time pop here. I mean, the same time MVIS made a bit of move. Not that they're necessarily related. Ocugen comes right back in to this level right here in the pre-market highs, 1150. Monster flush to 1080. I'm going to try the rollover trade off of that high, pre-market high. It's a setup that you've seen me do probably, I say countless times on a stock with a little bit of weakness. This was a multi-day runner. And then yesterday, you had that big time move in the afternoon. It could not hold on. And now it's below these prices. You got to like it for a bit of resistance at 1150 if I can catch a short.
Yeah, I'm gonna try one more shot. Not one more shot. I'm gonna take another shot here. We've already got out of our softie, so let's put another bid on here. Average in this price. So yeah, we do have a 253 spot downside. Obviously, people buying the strength. We'll have to go check out Google. Microsoft was already down on earnings today. That's why that fill there at 256.90 was a monster fill. Sometimes you got to have those orders sitting there. You saw the same thing happen to me with Pinterest, man. We got that crazy short there. Okay, so there's a buy, 254.60. What we were looking at was these bottoms here, 253. I think that's worth holding it to backside there, 253. So we're going to wait. I mean, if we lose on this one, we lose on this one. That's going to be what it is. Another good MVIS out there upside. We just took some 21s, 22s. Now we're pretty light on this name, but again, we don't need this to fade right back in. Big trading today on pins, big trading today on MVIS, Microsoft. The only thing that we've really messed up with was AMD because we did go long, and now we're holding along against this bottom of 87.50. What's up, Brendan?
This GSX, anyone wondering, 10%, yeah, to the upside, just broke 35 there. All I see is Goldman Sachs with an upgrade on this one today, guys. Remember, they're going to be changing their ticker as well. We talked about that earlier in the week, but GSX, all kinds of volume here, guys.
Okay, good look there. So got into that, got into Ocugen just off of that like 1150. Now I'm not saying it's sympathy, but you get a flush out like this and then a strong move up. A lot of times you can get a pullback into where it all started. So call it that 11 to 11.15 range. If we get down there, I'll be pretty happy to be able to take the profit down. For a quick little scalp trade, just to come back over to Pinterest, it is front of the mind, and I'm still looking at it. I finally got into Spotify, that little bottom pick, but Pinterest showing some interest in getting back towards that 69 level. So if it can't break VWAP, maybe we'll look for something more shallow. But if it gets up to that 69, we'll look for a bit of a short into it there. And I just got, like I said, I just got that dip into the low of the day on Spotify. We talked about defending this one right here, right now. It's at that 263. I got 77, so it's actually possible that we could end up risking, less than $1 depending on what slippage is. This is the first level I wanted to test. If it gets to 260, I'm willing to try that as well. I kind of feel like this one got beaten up a little bit too much, which is not the feels that I have with pins.
Okay, yeah, Pinterest beat down. We've already taken that trade. We'll wait to see if it does go back to the high. So I'm going to cancel some of those orders because right now, we're out. We're very light on MVIS. You guys can see that, but right here, man, we are just testing patience right now with AMD, because I'm looking at this 87 level. More importantly, this is a VWAP on a 20-minute 86.75, but we're testing all the way to the downside right now. Our last trade taken right now, we're going to use this breaking spot right here, and if it breaks it, it breaks it. Bad trade for sure. AMD to the downside. We talked about that today with Mark Roberts. We talked about it having that high side here of 88 and change right here, guys. 88, 89. It's had some problems there before, so not a surprise that it's falling down, but a little more rapidly than we thought. Just down, 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 down. This is a loser here. We're a big position. You can see my average price. So average price 87.51. This will be about a 70-cent hit if we have to get it out. So no good here on AMD so far today, but we'll see. What up, Brent?
XOM, let's go to the energy group here. XOM ripping 2.3% straight to the upside. They updated their current quarter guidance ahead of earnings coming up on Friday morning, guys, for XOM.
And we'll flush this one. Well, you know what? I was going to hit this one. We'll say we didn't dodge a grenade on this little bit of a new key there, a little bit of explosion. On Spotify, it does break that low. I gave it about to that, because I got a decent price there, I gave it the actual dollar plus slippage instead of like only 75 cents, which I didn't think was worth it. I think it's still going to be worth a possible defend at that 260, but you can't sit around there holding it for too long. I just want to quickly go back to Ocugen, which for the time being, it did make a bit of a dip here. I'm just going to zoom in. I made a bit of a dip. I didn't actually see it get into VWAP. I was like 2 pennies too low, and now it's retesting the 1150. So I should have hit that first target. I probably had it a little bit too deep. If it breaks 1150, watch out for the upside on Ocugen here. I'd still prefer a failed break and then come back into the short. So I'm going to get out of the trade here. That's my stop hitting at 1150. If it cannot extend through, it's probably worth at least another shot at it for the short trade. This is exactly what you're seeing here with the bid immediately sort of snapping back. You're seeing it. Yeah, there it is. You know what? If it's not going to hold, it's not going to hold. I want to see if it can give me like something in the 49 to 50 range one more time, and then I can play off of this high, the recent high that it just made at 1160. So I jump back in and try to risk about 10 cents and no more for a secondary trade.
So they hunted out our stop there on AMD, guys, and they got it, man. They got our 86.70. Like, basically, I got that 70 print, and then it ripped right away almost to 87 and change there. So we did get back in, but it's a loser there. Let me see what we have for a loser, if I can. There we go. Flush ourselves down the toilet here and not having fun. We're going to give it one more shot here. Sometimes I get caught up in this stuff, so don't, just be very careful. Like 86.50 is going to be my last spot there. I feel like that might have been the blowout bottom. So we're going to get back in. It's a losing stock, so we can't celebrate it, but we can make it back. If it gets back to VWAP here as expected. Right now, worth the risk. We will take some more shares, but then we're going to get out at 86 and change if it does break downside. So yikes on that one. Check back on Pinterest. Good. Wow, what a good out there on Pinterest. So we went bearish there, but thank God we did get out there. I know Neil had some lower bids there, so I hope those got filled down to 67. Wow, that was a good touch. 67 and then a bounce. So we take that out. Good win there, but you have that win and then you have the AMD loss, right? So they kind of go hand in hand there. MVIS, we dumped out of that trade, so now it's coming right back to the downside. This is possibly where you may want to get longer. This is what we talked about off this 2150 level. So MVIS coming right back down to life. It does get blown out on the top, and when you see that fail there, that's sort of when you need to get out, right? I mean, it's just been tick, 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 tick to the downside. I'm going to go one more long here on MVIS and use 50 as my out.
So did get that in front of 67. There was that stacked bid at 67 on pins. I'll go with not too good. We'll hit the crap, the poop for that OCGN. Second time through, does lose that like 10. Actually, lost about 15 cents on the way back in to that trade when it tried to slide over. Pinterest, I said if it came back and retest the opening range, I would get back into it. 68.91 is going to be my new entry price. I think I can basically just sort of give this to the pre-market highs, and I'm still hunting for any kind of a move up that gives me 71, 71.50. I still like that idea, but first things first, it's back to the original open price. Going to try shorting it again. Brendan?
Starbucks, guys, trying. Did bounce here, 112 back to 114. Needs to get back above this 114, which is these highs from over here on the daily chart. If it starts supporting that, could be decent. But Starbucks still negative on the day, obviously.
So one more short shot here on MVIS. We'll see where it wants to go now. I mean, this is going to be the play. I mean, screw you, AMD, honestly, man. We'll dap it up a little bit here as we get long a decent position. You can see my average price now 81s. We get long a decent position right where they screwed us out of it the first time. So now we'll let some profits come through as we just take some 87.12s there, I believe. Let's zoom this in a little bit more. Yeah, 87.12. Yeah. So there it goes. It just printed again. So now the upside comes in. We're 30, 40 cents in the money. This hit was, I don't know the average price, but I'll tell you right now when I'm going to get back to net positive on this thing. Hopefully it's going to be very, very soon. Damn you, that wick. Damn you gets us out. But that happens to traders all of the time. So let's just move on from that. MVIS, we did take our last bid right here at 70. So let's see now if it has some kind of legs back to the upside. We've been crushing MVIS lately. So I think a 22 right here is pretty good. 22.22. If we can get above that, then that's a good one. Let's take a little bit out. We're back long. 22.01 off of a reload. We called that reload, guys. So, I mean, there's the levels that we're looking at all the time for you. Let's see what happens. Microsoft, just because this is coming to the downside, I got to give it to here. 252, where was it? 252.50, I think, was going to be my out. I'll double check that position, but MVIS with a ripper, man. We just talked about getting longer there. Here it is. Good trade alert. What's up, Veep?
Hey, Sean, Clover Health made a big spike to the upside at the open. Stock is now around up 9%. CLOV, guys.
Wowzers. Yeah, so I mean, that just sort of popped up on the radar. Just immediately here in a daily chart being a punk. 1060 is the level I'm going to be looking at, just going to maybe the 15 minutes to illustrate why. You had this, and we talked about this at the time, you had this triple top off 1025 where it is now, and then if it extends to 1060, fine, but it's right here, and I just sort of did a similar thing on Occygem where it was trying to roll over. This is a little bit more significant of a level here at this 1025 on Clover. Yes, I think 1060 is more resistance than here. But if it can hold this top, which is like a 1037, it's probably worth the scalp trade. If you see a setup that is in your wheelhouse, it would sort of behoove to try to take it here. If I can get anything in the 20 to 25 range, I'm jumping into a short off of the current high, and then I'm still looking at that 1060 level as the real big one on Clove.
So there it is. Thank God, actually, we were a little bit diligent there, getting some out when it ripped up there, right to that 22 level, guys. And then it just fell on its face. So MVIS, profitable stock today for sure. Holy crap, AMD, again, yeah. Oh, man, I'm just like so sad that we got hunted out there on AMD, but what can we do? A nice win. Let's take some out there at 37.38. What a big move up. I say that because my net now rocketing to the high side here off these bids on AMD. So unfortunately, we did get hunted there, got stopped a little bit, but then we were the hunter at the end of the day and got another long here at 86.67. So now we've got to cash that out if we're going to make any money on this trade, right? So there's another one at 84. We take that out there as well. So Microsoft, you're trying, Softy. I see you, and I have not forgotten about you. We did take another long there at 253.60. I still want to give this $1 down. Am I being stubborn? Maybe, but I still think that right around here, man, 250, 250. This spot, again, I could give it all the way down another $1, but come on. I'm just going to, wave the white towel here. Let's see if Microsoft can hold this 250, 250 level. I do have another in, so we're going to wait for one more trade to come through here on Softy. We're only long, like I'm talking about this trade like it's dead money. We're long at 254.40 rate, 254.30 right now. It's 40 cents out of the money. Microsoft has enough room to go, guys. It's going to be a big trade I'm hoping for. I think it might even get worth averaging right now again. What up, B?
We mentioned Visa earnings. Another one benefiting from that report, it looks like. MasterCard, MA, just broke $400. That's all-time highs for MA, guys. They report tomorrow.
Yep.
Let's go, and I'm going to go with the toilet bowl flush. There comes that Clover. We talked very, very quickly about that triple top from a few sessions ago, that 1025. Still like 1060. That would have been a better rollover in my opinion, but it is what it is. Down into VWAP. I got 1005s the last out. I'm actually still holding a third of my position that I don't want to give all the way back to the high. I'm going to move my stop in, not even a break even. Like if this, actually no, right to break even or so to that quarters because my price is 26 here. If it can flush any further, fine. It might get through that 10, but that's a strong move, and it's still on volume. I do expect a VWAP bounce here. For anyone that's bullish, I wouldn't be too afraid of holding on to this if you were long. I'd maybe let it actually break that 10, which I'm expecting it to defend. And if I think that's going to be true, I'm going to get some more shares out. So there we go, down to like 10% of the position. Got that last entry was at 28 average price. Was actually 25 and change, close to 26. If it breaks 10, At this point, I should try to see if I can't get something at the cluster to 975 to 980. Otherwise, I'm going to throw a break-even stop and then move along, which I guess Pinterest did, and it's back to Pinterest was almost $1 in the money when I started talking about Clover, and now it's back to flat. So Pinterest catching a bid? What?
Yeah, it's probably gonna blast up. I'm gonna look for some longs on Pinterest. New all-time highs and still champion Google. The biggest and the baddest remains the same here. Shout out to our YouTube affiliate. Right now, Google ripping YouTube monster numbers there. Like Brandon said at the beginning of the show, man, they could probably split that off just as their own entity. Not probably, they could do that. It probably has more revenues than 40% of the S&P, maybe more. 24.18 there, big time movements. That could get taken out. There's no doubt about that one here on Google. So just watch this, keep going. We have more fish to fry though. AMD, these were the outs that we were talking about, guys. Like upside, man. Like again, when we take in a 65 long and it goes in the money 80 cents, these losses aren't 80 cents worth on an average price, right? So hopefully you guys took some of that out there. We did, and you saw me hitting the keys and talking about it. A bunch of outs here, 26, 27s, 30s, 40s, things like that. So I still think we can climb here, but that's the move back. You see the NASDAQ making that move back. So you have to enjoy some of that AMD profit, at least on the high side, and hope it comes in. The opposite sort of for Microsoft. Microsoft did make a move, man. We went long there at 253.80. It went as high. It actually went up here, man, to put us into a flat position. But now Softy getting hit downside. We have one more bid. I'm not going to let this go to 250. This will be a hit for me if we do get it here on Softy. Brendan's got something else.
Yeah, I apologize. I missed who it was, but somebody was mentioning this one. Box L, 15% on huge volume. Yeah, they reported also aftermarket yesterday. I can show you the highlights here real quick. There was better than expected results and also increased revenue guidance for Q1. For Box L, there was also a couple of positive notes from analysts this morning on this one. So yeah, Box L having a nice day, guys.
Yes, sir. And we apologize. I apologize in advancing, and I know there's going to be names that that are going to report and are going to be interesting and going to be moving. And it's hard to catch everything when it's bonanza, earnings bonanza. Pinterest, of course, is on the front of the mind here. It does make another run up, and I shorted the pop here at 68.91. Got some out for a 50-cent win. 40-cent win down in front of 50s. It bounced below VWAP off of 68. I didn't take the rest out, so I actually ended up looking the gift horse in the mouth, which looks a lot like that. Not a good look. I just got back in at 69.21. My average price is now going to be 13s. If it breaks the high at 69.50, I think I'm just going to take a bit of a momentum break long. I still like the idea of going short in around that 71 to 71.50 price in Pinterest. I'll keep going with that. But until it happens, got to play the price action. It bounced off VWAP. We'll get out a couple of times here while still trying to maintain the short position below 69.50. Clover, which we had just taken, there it is. So there's that bounce. I got just about everything out here. So if we can break 10, I'll hang on to some if it's going to be that weak. For the time being, it does not look so. It has bounced off VWAP. I've gone with a break-even stop. And if it holds this pretty nicely, it's 1040. I would like it a little bit better if it was like a 1050 break through the top. Clover looking like it wants to make a secondary push and a secondary break for those that are holding long.
I just talked about it. Good trade there on Pinterest, getting back into that short. Nice move. Okay, this 87 right there. I just put on the chat a couple minutes ago, a minute ago, that we were getting some more out here. A big bump up, man. We just took some 17s there on AMD. We're long 80s. We're long, 68. Thanks for bringing this to my attention as well as Microsoft looking to make a move back upside again. Palantir. Wow, where did you come from, Palantir? Again, look at that 2350, man. We held that beautiful level 2350, but I don't understand that move. The NASDAQ made a huge move up. Normally I'm a bull on Palantir, that's right. But today we just take that short off of 24. I like the trade, don't get me wrong. I think at 24 is a fantastic level as the market now ripping up. So it's a small offer. Just thought maybe we could retrace a little bit here on Palantir. We'll take a 24 long as well. Microsoft, it's alive! Coming right back. We're almost back into the money now. Oh, we just missed that. We are at 252.80. Should have took another bid there on Softy as the market should be bumping right now, Brendan.
Slight correction, guys, on that box light. They received record. So they came out this morning and said they received record order intake for their current quarter. And also, because of that, increased their current quarter Q1 guidance May 20th on the earnings for Boxell, guys.
There you go. Good clarification. Thank you for that, Brendan. Always important to get it absolutely right. That's what it's all about here. I'm going to go to Pinterest. I did get a first target out, but Tesla close to, not quite breaking that. I didn't see this off the open. It looks like there was a failed break at 700, right at 930 essentially before coming back in. And the market is creeping up here. The Nasdaq just turned green on the session. And the ES is, just slightly positive. Let's look to see if maybe some rising tides can lift all ships here. And if we can get through that 700, I'm going to try breakout long in Tesla here. If I get it, where you go? Oh, there's an iceberg. That's not an iceberg order. Just someone just sitting on the offer there at 700. So not quite breaking just yet. When it does go, I'll try to catch that one to the long side. Let's see if Clover has some run to it. I just took a small long position in Clover. I don't like break levels if it's not going to be like an even dollar. So I just get into Tesla here. Got to make sure I'm monitoring that. I wanted to see if I can catch a long in Clover that wasn't 10, sort of 37, which was a high. It was closer to fading into that 1050. But Tesla, first long of the day for me, right at the even 700. So I got a great little fill there. Well, I mean, technically speaking, if you get that fill, you can call it a kind of a bad fill because it means it triggered before the level broke on a dark print. I'll take it either way. If I can scalp a $1.50 to 2 into yesterday's close price, that's what we go ahead and do. So we'll drop the money plain. It should be a spaceship because they're winning with SpaceX, unrelated, and good luck with SNL, Elon. If it gets to like a 707 area, so let me pull back a little bit so you can see. If it gets to like a 707 area where this fell off in the afternoon, right going into the close, that'd be like that next target to get it all out. Then look for some dip buys. If we got a recovery going, Tesla got beat up on earnings. I mean, why not take a shot to the long, which I've done here.
Yeah, the Doge father there today on a tweet from Elon Musk. What up, Doge father? Yeah, we'll talk about Dogecoin in a minute. Picture's still falling down. I did want to go back over Microsoft. Let's go. I mean, this is the one that we're talking about right now. We've been averaging into Microsoft. We had a huge monster trade. We're positive on everything today except for AMD, and I'm going to go over that in a minute. That one was just a disaster print to the downside there. I do want to cover that because, yeah, I don't know what happened there to AMD. So I think that there's some talk about that, and I want to look at it in a minute. Right now for AMD. Ooh, hold on a second. Cancel that order. This just fell. Like we were just getting out, and I just talked about it. All of a sudden, it was like 87, bang, down here. We got out at 86.50, but we did take another long there. So let's wait to see if that one wants to go into the money a bit. And there goes Mr. Softy. We're back in the building, baby. This is what we're talking about. Let's go, Microsoft. You know we're invested in this one. We've got some nice prints out here. Let's see if Microsoft could go. We're holding out hope. Come on, Microsoft. You can do it, buddy. To the long side here. We're nicely long on you. 253.90, 60, 70 cents now in the money. Sometimes we do have these, and it looks like it's paying off, but I shouldn't say that too much because I'm about to get out another piece right now on Mr. Softy. Really happy with this one, guys. Wow.
So I tried that little reversal shy of the high of the day on Clover, which I sort of talked about not liking a 1050 break when I get like a fade. It goes through 1050. I'm like, yeah, baby, it's about to run. And then this is where I'd be thinking about short. That false break at 1050, I'd usually be thinking about shorting. Instead, I'm taking some of these shares off for a 2-cent win just to trim a little bit here. I still want to see if it can't hold. It looks like it's a bit of an upward turn, but I should have had these shares out when it broke that 1050. I got a little bit greedy with it. It is what it is. Maybe it was the fact that Tesla started working for me. I got a little distracted by it. That just turned around at 704, so it did go $4 in the money and sliding back down. I want to hold on to the long until that 707 area at least, and then one more because yeah, you had mentioned Pinterest was going down again. Still in front of VWAP though, so I take another leg out here. I want to make sure I get those 50, 60 cent scalps. Last time I got 40 when it went 50 or 60. If it breaks lower, I'm going to hold on. It's core position short as long as we're below that 69.50 mark, but taking profit along the way. Brendan?
This one popped up yesterday, guys. If you remember, Vaxart, VXRT did just massive volume on the session yesterday. It's trying to test some of these support levels from late in the day, 8 to 820 right now, coming back in on volume for VXRT.
All right. Yeah, Vaxart. Oh, yeah, Vaxart, a good name there for sure. Okay, so Ethereum just bouncing around here. We just took a 2750 prints up to 26760 right now, so that's a decent trade. Microsoft right now, good outs, man. I mean, we were getting excited there, and I said we got to take a little bit of profit. We've held this thing all the way today, and if we don't get out when it starts approaching this VWAP, then we're mistaken a little bit there. So we did get it out, first out at 50. That's always going to be my out. I mean, we're where we're long, guys. We got to take some profit. And then the next out there, and I apologize because you can't really see them. There it is, 60. So 61s and 47s. We're right back. So there we go. Like, again, other shows might talk about their trades, but here I am physically putting them on for you and showing you exactly my ins, exactly my outs and everything, and then talking about why I'm doing it as well. So I hope you like the show. Let's get those likes going as well today. That would be great. I mean, I doubt my favorite stock, and it's going to punch me in the face here. It's a small position. It's like 20% of what I normally would take. Look at this move upside here. Congratulations, Palantir, man. Thank God it's battled back, man. My last buy was at 21.80. I'm loving Palantir. Just nothing to see here on this trade. I shouldn't be short it, but whatever. I play the price action, and it told me to do it. So that's what happened there. AMD trying to battle back. We did have a nice win. I'm going to use 86 as the very bottom. We're only negative on one stock, and it's this bad boy. I really love the action today. However, it was just down. Like, if you were short, thinking short, this has been a fantastic trade. However, I was thinking long. There goes Microsoft, now $1 in the money, guys.
Yeah, and giddy up, Marlon, when it comes to shop. That's making a big move to the upside. I said I got greedy on Clover, so the short's going to be a good trade. I liked the long into that 1050. Should have done much better on that trade than instead of taking 2 cents and then basically losing 6 on the back end there. Not going to be the best moment because I'd left some profit on the table, but it is what it is. You've got to play the price action. You've got to basically do the best that you can. And I'll tell you where I fail. I wanted it in front of that 1050 fading in. When it broke and came back, that is in all kinds of take your profit in the 1045 range. I just got out of Tesla, so from one that loses, I should say, to one that wins. There's that 707 we talked about on the 700 break. So Tesla now positive on the session as we take you guys to the big screen with Brendan for Happening Now.
Hey guys, yeah, 10 o'clock. Let's have a look at North American markets here, see how we are shaping up so far. We here in Canada, the TSX, that is, leading the way so far, 0.86% for the TSX to the upside. Brazil having a nice day as well. Here's the S&P, 0.22 to the upside at this point. The NASDAQ 100, NASDAQ Composite, both in positive territory. Just the Russell kind of struggling. It's 0.3% in negative territory. The Dow as well, 0.4 to the downside. Otherwise, though, a decent start to the day. A couple of things we were mentioning in the pre-market so far. To the downside, unfortunately, for Starbucks, can't really get out of its own way here. 112 needs to hold, or we could be in trouble. That spike low aftermarket on the earnings yesterday. So volume still pretty good here on Starbucks. On the sell side, 3.5%. Now, Spotify, the other one, look at the volume in comparison to yesterday on Spotify. Monster volume. It's trying to hold 260, 262 right now, but having trouble on spot as well. Guys, back over to you.
And wow, Tesla actually still running there. Now we're in a reversal on that Pinterest. You know, the short was great off of the open. The reloads were at least muted. I mean, it got to view up a couple of times here. If it gets back below, I'd call it like 68.50 and then maybe holds that 68 to 68.50 range, might be worth reinvestigating the short, especially if it gets up to like 71 for sure. But I'm going to start my position to the long side when it broke that 69.50, I should say. And if we get back down in here, 68.50 to 69, consolidate, that'd be worth it for a dip buy. This is just more of a, can it fill in the gap that it put in on that obviously big time disappointment. And again, it comes down to everything was a beat except for where the actual user growth was concerned. I've been in RBIT, I should say. And of course, come on, flip, RIBT, there you go. I've been in this one basically the entire morning. Now, there were a couple of, I missed this move into like 150 and didn't catch it short till 43. I was able to get some out at 130s. I had started the positions here at 134. Now I got back in a couple of times, 43, 44. So I actually was able to catch this higher low that it put in, at least for now, I should say, the lower high that it put in. Now, if we get back down towards 30s to like 33, 34, I'll start taking profit one more time. Needed to break through VWAP. It's been a solid one in terms of the movement it's given you. I just don't know if I've been active enough. And of course, I start to Pinterest long, and it's still looking relatively weak. Go figure.
Okay, we're going to get, I mean, I dumped that pictures real early and maybe a mistake
too
there.
early.
So I don't,
Started
yeah,
long.
I haven't been watching it. We'll have to see. Microsoft there does test. We're just going to get out, man. We do have higher hopes for this name, but the NASDAQ has just gone on a run. So let's dump out our Microsoft position, man. We made a lot of money back on this name. So absolutely no point right now for me to hold too much more than I already have. So right now I have about a third left. So about a third left on the Microsoft trade. I think it's exactly, actually, what am I saying? About exactly a third left on this trade. So all out here, you guys know I have VWAP Trader. So there we go. We get that out right there. So that's a good one for us so far today. Let's review Palantir. Palantir does go to 24 and then fades back down a little bit. This NASDAQ move upside right now may be the catalyst for that move. I'm going to short a little bit more here on Palantir. What size do we have anyways at Ozad? Nothing. Yeah, I could probably blow right by that. So let's go a little bit more short here on Palantir and then just see what happens. But good out there, it looks like anyways on Softy as we're starting to turn back around. I'm bidding more down here, but a nice little retracement on Softy. I think we'll get out one more piece. I mean, we're 70 cents in the money here on Microsoft. So let's wait for it. But if you want to get out another piece, I can't blame you depending on what your average price is right now. Nice move back on Softy. AMD just continues to crap on itself. Like we were long 86.34 there, goes in the money 40 cents and then breaks 86 again. So just a terrible looking chart, terrible executions by me. Thank God we made this money back right here when we were long in this area and made that back, because otherwise this would be absolutely like abject disaster here today for AMD and for my net, but that's not the case. Man, stop talking and short Palantir, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, there's one name that I feel like has gotten away from us a little bit, and that's going to be that MindMed. Candidly, I had almost forgotten about that $4. When it made the move up to 450, I canceled my 4 even and tried a defense at 425. Got 431 long, just immediately lost like 6 pennies, but did not re-enter my order to get in front of that $4, and it bounced down to 407 and looks like it's trying to make a bit of a recovery. Maybe it'll consolidate down here and give me a shot at it, but this could have been a missed opportunity at the bottom so far on MindMed. I can tell you, Pins is on that reversal train. And when I say reversal, I don't mean to the upside. So there's it back into VWAP here. Got to be careful because, like I said, if it gets between that 68 to 68.50 and then fails at that price level, you're looking at retesting those lows. And that long pickup I was thinking about at 66 comes into play. I wanted that little breakout play, started it here when it took 69.60. I'm kind of reluctant to add more than we just did in and around VWAP. This still looks like it's a little bit weak, despite getting me away from those short trades, at least temporarily.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, on earnings, man, stocks very, very, needless to say, hard to trade sometimes on earnings. But we did have that Pins dead to right on the short, both of us there. Microsoft, I mean, look at this, man. Starting to go higher and higher than NASDAQ. So now we say, hey, good thing we didn't take out some of that Softy. But look where it just went to, man. It just bounced again there. Like, are we foolish not taking this out over and over again every time it comes up here, and then it drops down another 20, 30 cents. NASDAQ just turned green. I mean, the NASDAQ can go a hell of a lot more than this. You still have the biggest and the baddest coming, right? So don't forget what's coming after market until I find the stock logos. See, I push stock logos, guys. It's not stock logos at all. I am looking here for Apple. There it is. I'll hit it right now. I found it on another page. We got to fix the routing of said Stream Deck. Apple right now coming after market, so get your popcorn ready for that one. You saw the disappointment in Microsoft today a little bit, and in AMD, since open. I just think Apple has so many tailwinds that they're going to report a quite large number there. I'm excited for Apple. There goes Palantir. Hey, we tested it at 24. We do fall down there, flush ourselves down the toilet, but I was never investing long into this name. We took some 89s, we took some 94s there. As the NASDAQ goes, man, so goes Palantir. We'll test a small long now, but for right now, Palantir's a negative stock to go with our AMD guys. But right now, we're celebrating that move on Microsoft, though. What's up, Brendo?
Just checking on this UXIN, another one that did report as well this morning, guys, in the pre-market. So just popping up here on volume, day highs 7.8% here for UXIN.
Like you said, there's just so many of them that are on the move. Let's watch out for a little bit. I mean, It looks like there's that turn coming on Tesla. Now, I said 707, quickly went into yesterday, is price action to show you. It goes up to 08s. It's now looking like it wants to pull back, with the market still holding out pretty strong here. I do like a dip. Probably going to look at this first cluster, like 703 or so, where it had a bit of a stall. I get the first leg out at 702. I'm not going to wait all the way back to 700 to try a dip buy in Tesla. We're not done with it by any stretch of the imagination. I can tell you that RIBT, yeah, like I said, it needs to break below VWAP here. The longer it holds, sort of the more concerned I get and start thinking about don't give it to the high of the day. If it's going to make another break to the upside, maybe only give it to 145. And the longer it holds this VWAP, the more concerned I am with it. Here comes pins at that 68.50. This stock is still apparently going to be a short, which is crazy because I'm sitting here and reversing the long entirely too early. I'm going to take it off. You basically had all shorts, and if I just stuck with the shorts and waited till that 71s, I'd be laughing on pinches with only winners. RIBT trying to break through. Once it does this, I'm going to start thinking about where I can start moving a stop to and where I can start getting into more shorts. I don't want to average in unless it breaks through and gets me some outs at 30, 32, 33, 34. First things first, got to make sure we are getting into, hopefully, that MindMed, because I keep missing it every single time. It's crazy. Brendan?
Just looking at this Mudrick Capital acquisition. This is the TOPS SPAC popping up here again today, 10%. Just pulling in a little bit, but huge volume. Another one that went on a big move yesterday. So MUDS off and running, guys.
Yeah, MUDS. Yeah, we saw the Golden State Warriors doing some NFT action as well there yesterday. Shout out to Raheem Alani from OCI dropping that note to us. I'm in MindMed. I just keep ignoring talking about it because it's not really doing anything. We missed our... Oh, no, now my chart is frozen. Oh, God. Okay, so I got to get back into this, but we are... Closed program. See you. MindMed right now. Yeah, go back to Neil. I'll get this chart going.
Yeah, I mean, I just talked about possibly catching a dip on Tesla. I chuckle because it goes like, from 707, it goes down to like 705, not even close to 703, and it's trying to retake the high. So I'm going to try to be patient. This is a day that you want to do. So it's also Fed day. Let's keep that in mind. So sometimes you will see that crazy movement off of the open, and then things will slow down at least just a little bit. Like, Sean, you were right to say that MindMed isn't doing a heck of a lot. MNMD, it's kind of like... So, of course, we're used to trading, and of course, they were just on the pink sheets, and they trade in Toronto. So I'll type in MMED by pure reflex sometimes. Nothing is happening. If it does make another push down, I do want to long in front of 4. But the other thing that's happening is that out that I had at the previous pre-market low, that 425 area, starting to consolidate below there. Maybe setting up for a bit of a possible breakout if it does that 425 break. First things first, I wanted to long in front of $4. I'm still going to go ahead and do it. So I want to make sure I have an order out in front of what is the current low at 405s.
All right, I'm going to bite my tongue here a little bit because Microsoft, unfortunately, is coming back to the downside. I mean, I sat here and talked about still having 1/3 and like even asking you guys rhetorically, of course, because no one talks back to me here, that, 254, like that was a bump area there. How many times did we see it come right to VWAP and bounce, bounce, bounce to the downside? So I'm eating this crow because this is a trade that I definitely should have been out higher, and I hope that some of you at least followed some of that talk to get out a little higher than this. So the NASDAQ does pull back, and we get what we deserve on this play, guys, because honestly, like I had this name up here for that dollar and change win, and we just never took it out, all of it out. We took out a good amount. We're up on Microsoft. So, I mean, from what was a doomsday situation, it wasn't doomsday. What am I talking about? Like we already took right there, long 255.90, out 32. That's a 40-cent win. And then out 256.90. That's a dollar win. So we're banking Microsoft all day, but then we did average in, and this is the good thing. Like, look where my first average in is, and then look where all of these outs are, and then we have these bottom picks. So, hey, very, very successful little run here on Softy, but definitely missed the boat on getting some out. So let's get some out in the 20s, and then we'll see if we can revisit that, as well as putting some more bids downside. What's up, Beat?
Another recent IPO moving here, guys. Vizio, the TV maker, VZIO, the ticker. Just double checking. Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, and Piper Sandler all initiating coverage on this one today. VZIO, nice move here on volume. This is all-time highs above that spike there for this one, guys.
And go Shopify. I mean, now essentially, look, it's already sort of broken through this recent high, that 1255. It's also looking to break what was a previous level high there, like 1287, and then maybe we'll get to that 1300 mark. These are prices in New York, of course. You can trade in Toronto. Thank you so much for the likes. It's a wild earnings bonanza morning here, one that wasn't in earnings. Well, I mean, they had earnings earlier on in the week, obviously. Tesla now starting to get that little bit of a rollover. So I'm starting to look back at that 203 area. Any kind of a slowdown or consolidation, going to try to buy the dip on Tesla. Maybe another retrace into that high, guys. So still hunting at Tesla here. Just haven't gotten into it as it finally starts a bit of a rollover. I got it at 07s on the 700 break. I still think there can be more to come with this particular name getting close to my long.
Miss V, did we call for her?
Did we? No.
Sure. There it is, Valeria. What up?
Well, guys, I just wanted to quickly remind you to smash the like button. We're just 500 away from reaching 2,000 of likes. We have almost 7,000 of viewers. So if you didn't like this video yet, please make sure that your thumb is turned to the upside and blue color under our video. Back to the traders.
There we go. Thank you, Ms. V, for that.
Anytime.
And yeah, now we'll just do quickly before I throw back to Neil. Chicken dinner winner finally on Palantir. We learned our lesson. Sean will never short Palantir again. That's an incorrect statement, but we learned. What happened here? Oh yeah, it's because my charts froze. That's right. I was like, what happened here? Did it just gap up? No, it did not. We reload the charts up, and then there's a nice little win, man. Long 24, out 24 a bit. Now we'll hold the rest. Trying to put everything into the positive today. AMD, thank God we got out of the way of this POS, because today, man, this is just like, see ya, down to the downside. I wonder if I lost. You know what? I need to figure this out, Maggie. Maybe write this down. Like, I think I need to find out if my computer's dropping packets here or something, because no matter what, my chart should still be, like, Neil, do you have any problems at like 10:05, 10:06 on your charts?
It's funny that you said that, because not on Tesla here, but I swear I saw that another symbol that I called up. I'm not sure if maybe it was even AMD, but it happens from time to time. It can just be like a little bit of packet loss on your PC. But there goes Tesla. Like, I wanted to see consolidation for an entry. I mean, even I'm talking a pause down at 703, not running into 703, kind of touching it like gently or softly, and then bouncing up off of this level. So if you get a consolidation here, I'll get into the trade. I didn't want to step into it and just sort of blindly throw a bid in there, so I was watching the level 2 to see if I got an entry point. I did not, so you still see me in Ribbit to the south side doing exactly what I don't want to see happen in this name, which is bounce, like 2 or 3 cents off of VWAP here. No monster fade. This is what the stock did in yesterday's action, why I kind of like the short. And I talked about this towards the end of the show. Someone was saying it was a bit of a bear trap, and I said that's fine. Sometimes you get into those looking for that flush, because I want other people betting on longs when I'm going into a short. It's a way that you can win on the trade if you really think about it, because short duration long trades are going to cover, and their stops are going to give you profit. Anyways, we're back at that same level off 145, 150. It needs to break 135 for me to start getting out here. And the longer it holds that 130 level, I think the worse it gets for me. Brendan?
It just popped up once again. If you remember, about this time yesterday, we had initial pop there, and then around lunchtime, it started to go as well. Volume coming in just broke that high from yesterday, 3.5% for BlackBerry.
Okay, good little long there. Yeah, we trash talked that company a bit, but I mean, obviously it's a good name and it could move. So watch out for BlackBerry on lows, guys, like BlackBerry. So good little pickup there if you are bullish for the company. I mean, can't complain getting value sometimes, right, when you're trading. So that's probably a good value spot there for BB. It was BBY before, BBRY, I believe it was, before it changed symbols. AMD still, man, shit show continues. Oops, sorry. The show continues here on AMD as we go. But look at Softy, man, right back. So hallelujah. Microsoft will dab that up. Thank God this one came back to life for us a little bit here. Microsoft right back to that level. Will we make the same mistake again? Yes, we will, because I am not getting out now. I already got some out right there. I told you when it was dumping down, man, that I was going to be a little more conservative with Microsoft, because we did have some lower picks coming downside, but that never came in. So right now, here we go. We're right back here. So we got out. It's a big trade for me today, Softy, man. One of my best ones. So I just celebrating this. We talked about it. I love trading Microsoft. And here we go again. We're at our highest spot we've been at all day right now. So really loving this life right here. Microsoft, and then MindMed. MindMed only goes up to 427. So about that Reddit hysteria, Neil, this may not be existing right here as the volume sort of died off right from the open.
You can use a little bit of language. I mean, my daughter's not watching. To her, language is like saying bummy.
My daughter might be, that's the problem.
Just say like, you know what, I don't have anything.
They've heard worse.
Now, that's the thing. These days, they've certainly heard worse. I complain about RIBT, and it does come through. So, I mean, like seconds ago, I'm like, this needs to break that 35. I just got filled at 34, 33. If it breaks 130s, then I want some more out at 28s, all the way down to 121. So that one's going to be riding the bear train on that particular name. I got to go back to this one because down like 41%. Getting that letter of concern from the FDA regarding a drug for a disease that I can't pronounce. Anyways, it's basically doing nothing. I talked about that 360 level. It touched up here. Sorry, this is actually technically like 365. It touched up there, and I'm showing you the gap on purpose. It touched up. I missed the rollover because I'm trading everything else. I'm like, I'm just going to sit in this one short. If it gets down, I'll start taking profit from 330 down to 3 even, but it was doing absolutely nothing except for one entry here at 48. It then broke, and this is when I actually bothered to notice it again. I had my stop at 65. It broke that 48 again. I'm like, oh, shoot, I should get some more shares short. I should have done that up here, but there's stocks that are actually moving, and that was concerning me a little bit more. I'm comfortable sitting in the short on a stock that has horrible, horrible news. Maybe I should have just stood in front of the freight train that was coming back down. That was Tesla at 703. It bounced and gave you like $3 worth of a scalp. Because I missed that trade, I'll wait for VWAP and sort of sit back and relax on that one.
I mean, this chart looks kind of insane here, but hello, MVIS. Now, I mean, what a rip here on MVIS. Like, talk about a name that we left for dead a little bit. We were long this name, long, like only long. There's no shorts here. MVIS just ripping. Congratulations to anybody that's still holding this name. Unfortunately, I am not, and wish that we were. But $24 coming in, man. Like I just said, congratulations. That's a monster trade there. Anybody short this, long this MVIS off some of these levels. We just got stopped out there on the last little bit. So a nice move up. We left it, and we should have got out. Okay, so I said to Microsoft we had that dollar in the money again, and we didn't take it, and now it's falling back down again. So that's one little recap there. Alibaba, a nice move to the high side. Let's check out Starbucks, though. First of all, Spotify down that 10%, Shopify up that 11%. So let's check out SBUX quickly here. A 112. Okay, so not getting up to that 115. We did target 115. That we did like it, but. Yeah, look, I'm missing a lot of data. I wonder if we log out and back in if we would get that data. So I might do that. 113 right here, a good spot for Starbucks, but down that 3%. Do we want this? I mean, NASDAQ up a lot. A lot of these names could probably continue to fall. So 113, a good spot here for this name. That is Starbucks. And again, MindMed. Palantir still going, so that's good. We're still long that one. That's 15 cents in the money. All is well today, man. It's been a big show. Just wish we didn't have that AMD.
All is well that ends well, for sure. I mean, there's still a lot of show to come, guys. And speaking of a lot of show to come, I don't even know if we said it, but if we miss out on something, trust me, we're going to get to it at the close. Live at the close, we come back at 3:15 every single day. We've already talked about some earnings that are going to be coming through. There are some biggies, of course. We're still waiting on Facebook and Apple. I bet you there's going to be some trades there. It'll also be post Fed. Right, so we don't expect any change. I mean, they're not going to do anything with the rate, but let's see what they talk about with regards to bond purchases. Do as we say, not as we do. One of the good reasons maybe to come through and watch the morning preparation is so that you can get some of those levels, because I'll bungle it all the time when I overtrade or trade maybe a lot of names here. And I took one shot at Spotify, and when I got out, this is a very, very tight stop here. We took that sort of 263.77 long, gave it $1, lost $1, thought it was a good look, and said, we'll revisit if it tests down towards 260. And if I'd taken 261s, you'd be staring that $5 winner in the face. Unfortunately, I got into that Tesla trade, was trading multiple names at the same time, had a little Ocugen, trading that RIBT, so missed out on defending 260 on Spotify. I thought it was too much of a sell. Maybe there's going to be another long to be had on a dip, putting in a higher low back at that 62, 63. But for now, it's already made that bounce off 260. Might have missed that one and missed the bottom for sure on spot. Brendan's at the big screen for our small cap recap.
Hey guys, yeah, let's do a little bit of a review here. We'll talk about MVIS first. I know it's a mid cap, but it's been a great trade so far today and had my attention for the past couple of days here because of this recent move that it made to the upside. Just pointing out this 22 area over here, 22 to kind of 22.20, because that's really where we've been working off of this morning. We did get through it initially, came back, tested the high end, so 22.20 on the upside. That held nice long right into the open to 23.5. And then we did get through this on the way back down. So all the way down to 21.5 almost, which was a little pivot on the initial move in the pre-market here. A little bit of support here, 21.5 to 21.60. That has obviously held now. So had to pick your levels wisely. But yeah, look at this. Testing 24 and then some for MVIS. Great trading on that stock over the past couple of days. Great opportunities. This one, ADMA, we talked about right before the open. I mentioned 250, 260. This is also 240 here, which is that high from the pre-market. So I said tons of liquidity, tons of volume on this. So I'm just kind of playing between the lines here, seeing what happens. Don't have anything right now. I did try it short initially, but that kind of showed a tan very early as well. It was initially very strong right at the open on volume, got above that 240 and held. So they give you multiple opportunities on the long side there for ADMA. Let's go back to Sean.
Okay. Yeah, looking for some more opportunities here. I'd like to get back into, first of all, PaySafe's not doing anything. DraftKings down that 1% today. Palantir making moves again. What did I want? Oh, I want to talk about Boeing. We had Boeing reported today, and it's doing sort of what we did think, guys. Boeing heading to the downside today. We talked about some of those key levels as well, and oh no. My chart again not responding here. So yeah, we're gonna probably have to get this looked at, but here on a 1 minute chart, you can see Boeing has that monster move down to that 233. I'd love to look at a daily chart to show you this. Maybe we'll load it up in a second here. Hopefully that comes flying through. But Boeing right now, yeah, okay, here we go. Let's see if it will load. I thought the levels were around 230. So let's see if we do want to take that through the long there. Microsoft comes right back in. Palantir coming back in. Look at the NASDAQ fading here. Okay, so here's the Boeing chart one more time. 229, yeah, so it is these levels. So we're coming close to right now, 230 and change. We did touch as low. What is this low today? 232. So, I mean, what a great opportunity that possibly was. If the NASDAQ fades in, you may get that again. So watch out for Boeing here on a downward move. Yikes. That one not looking super healthy today, down 2.75%. Kind of matches with our AMD, like just continuing to make a move downside. This like nasty move down. AMD really hasn't battled back. I still have it up here. We can have a quick look at it. I'm looking to get into some AMD here, and yeah, 86 maybe on a break. Not too sure. Nothing looks too great here for that short, but I do like an AMD long at some point. We just got to find it. Let's check its brother out here with NVIDIA. So NVIDIA's all-time high, I think 660-ish, something like that. But right now, today here, coming back in, 621 was that number. Yeah, so it's fading out as well. Look for NVIDIA to break to 617. Yeah, this market falls down. We could be down for a little bit of a beat down here. 617 short on NVIDIA looks nice as well.
Yeah, and I'm still tracking this. Look, MVIS is up 20% now. I mean, almost exactly. I'm looking at 25, and the only reason I'm going to look at that 25 level, yes, it's a round number, but you had that massive sort of dip in the pre-market going back into yesterday's session that held 25 even before you got that initial flush off the open. So I kind of look to that level. It's also a psychological one. If we get to 25 on MVIS, I'm going to look for a bit of a rollover short. It's already come up from like 21 bucks here at that bottom. It's a huge move, but remember, it consolidated in the afternoon show. We're long at 1938, and it consolidated up there, holding that 20 level and breaking out from that 20 level, I should say. So that's a big time move, guys. If it gives you that 25, I think there's going to be some profit takers. That's why patience is a virtue when you have a stock screaming to the upside like MVIS is doing, and not screaming to the upside, despite the fact that I turned from going all shorts. I tried the long trade, picked them up at VWAP, and then of course it rolled over. The best thing you can do in a situation like that is just stop digging in, right? Like once it broke that 68.50, I'm like, there's no way. Like it's probably still a bit of a short trade, and Pinterest is still looking relatively weak. So came in thinking the shorts. I took one crack at the long. That did not work out for me. Not going to revisit it just yet. I am still, and again, I'm going to come back to it every now and then, just in case. We do get the move starting to slide back down. I think there's a chance that it holds, my med, I should say, holds that 4 even, I'll take one shot at it. The lack of volume here, I kind of feel like if it breaks 4 at this point, there might actually be some more selling because there certainly isn't a frenzy of buyers at these price levels. And if it breaks 4 even, probably worth a bit of a scalp short the other way.
I like that frenzy of buyers. Yes. Yeah, we need to find a frenzy of buyers right now. Would be nice. So NVIDIA, here it comes, and it's going to break that 617. We didn't take the short, but let's get ready. It looks like it may want to take that out. There's a 617. Let's watch it. I mean, the spread is very, very spready. We're not in it, but there's the NASDAQ falling sort of as expected there. So Starbucks falling down. We look at let's just have a quick look. It's always good to like revert back to your notes. Like when you're sitting here, we don't have any LFT, so everything is fine. But AMD, Starbucks, MindMed, PINS, and MVIS. Like, so that's basically everything that we've wrote down today we've been talking about. MVIS does make that high. I'm wondering, again, I mean, the daily's not going to show us anything other than we do have these like 24. I mean, I can't. Right now with MVIS, these little wicks up don't really do a whole hell of a lot. Thank you so much for that super chat. I will look at Dogecoin for you right now. Rich, thank you so much. Dogecoin to the moon, is that what's happening? Every time Elon Musk, it's not really going.
It just pulled back.
Here it is right here. It's actually going the other way right now. Dogecoin does hit a high of 32.75. I'll show you, that's sense-wise, I'll show you that tweet Elon Musk said, Doge father. I guess that was in response to the dog father. What's up, Brendo?
All right, guys, 10:30. That means we have to get a check on Europe here as well. I wanted to remind you, though, coming up at 11:15 today, the Alkaline Water Company. This company, it's great water. Check it out. The Alkaline Water Company coming through with Aaron Key, the chairman of the company, going to tell us about alkaline water in general, the process required, and how they got started selling this, which is really good. So check it out coming up 11:15. Now, let's get a check on Europe. It's 10:30, which means there's an hour left only in the session over in Europe. What's up, V?
Brandon, European markets are mostly positive, and all the attention is to the upcoming Fed speech, and of course, earnings remain in focus. Deutsche Bank trading in Germany is up almost 10% after posting better than expected first quarter net profit. Back to you.
Yeah, I just saw the DB here in New York as well. 52-week highs, guys, for Deutsche Bank today.
There you go. Market rolling rolling over a little bit here, just as we tested. Maybe like that, not even to that 14,000 on the Nasdaq. But I watched Tesla here. It's trying to hold and consolidate finally at that 703 to 700 level. If we can break back out from here, maybe catch a little bit of a sideways action or a bounce in the market, I'd like to take another shot at it. But I'm not forcing the trade going into that Fed day. I'm sort of looking for that sideways action and then a bounce off of like 7 after that 703 was a miss. MVIS, I guess it wants to go without me. I was waiting for 25. It just turned off of that 24.40. This is not a huge pullback. It's only about 80 cents or so. I like to think maybe it goes a little bit higher and stretches. This could be a bit of a pullback worth looking off of like 23.50, that previous high, and then run it into the top. And as I say that, I'm sort of talking myself into the idea that I should be testing out something in that like 60 to 75 range off of 23.50, especially if I think it can go a little bit higher, and I'd be waiting for the short at those prices. So you want to give me something in here for like a smaller size position, not what we do at the short for at 25 even, or in front of 25 even, but a little something along in this consolidation. You can take off some in front of the high, take out some if it breaks 24.50, and of course I'd be flat on any long trade personally if it got to that 25 even, because I want to short it there.
All right, Microsoft does give us an opportunity to get back in, and we don't take it, unfortunately. Not really sure why we didn't take it there. Microsoft stares us in the face. Here you go. That's the minute chart. This is the minute chart right here. 253.70. I was waiting at 60, so let's put an order there. Let's just see if this is the name that we want, short, long. Sorry, I like it. We're still bidding that 253.60, so maybe we'll just switch that up a little bit here and put a bid a little bit lower than that. So we can get filled, I guess, higher than that. 253.70 on Microsoft. Let's just play this weakness in the NASDAQ and try to find a name that we know can run. But the problem is, maybe we should play something a little bit stronger. What's been strong today? Like Microsoft, no. AMD, no. We can check out Google. We know Facebook is coming through tonight as well. So there's a few opportunities to trade this. But let's take another shot here on Softy and just wait to see if that's going to be the name for us now. Microsoft, let's take another long here in the 70s, and then we still have this 253 to crack. So a nice little opportunity to get long here, Microsoft. Again, it's big stock for me, good positive name, but just missed a couple opportunities getting out on the high side here. So let's get long now and see if we don't make that mistake again.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, it's all about revisiting the names that you like, the names that are the best, what you think is going to be moving. I did just get into that MVIS trade, so I got the long. It's going to be at 78. I mean, like I said, I'll scalp it to the high of the day and then try to hold some through a 24.50 break in the event that it does. Pinterest still sort of sliding. I don't want to say grinding lower, like sliding lower here. There hasn't been a huge sort of breakdown. At this point, I'd almost prefer to see it, of course it's going to go down because I'm going to say this, I'd almost prefer to see it come back, retest that 68.50 where I gave up the long, and then give me like a rejection there where I can, maybe get into a short position around 68.25. Either that or we're waiting for the actual low of the day. I don't want to be punching the bottom here. I mean, the breakouts, I don't like breakouts at this time of day. At least lately, they haven't been the fantastic trade they were at times in the past. Got to go back to this RIBT, another name from yesterday. It gapped up. Said in the afternoon show there was a decent chance it could, but there'd be resistance at 150. That's 149. I was mostly shorting in the 144-ish range here. You're going to see that's where my last entry happens to be. There goes MVIS. So I tried the long trade, broke that 23.50 tight stop trade. If I was going to take profit for a tight amount in front of that 24.50 high, then I'm going to only give it a small stop there, not all the way to VWAP. RIBT is coming down. It needs to, like I said, it needs to break 130. And the longer it takes to do this, the more I have to consider moving some of these bids and taking the profits in front of me. 10-cent win on a $1.40 stock isn't bad, and I should be willing to take it. I've only taken off half the trade. At some point, I have to consider taking off more if it wants to do nothing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. We trade that action early on these names, and then now we sort of got to wait for something to happen. Okay, another name that we do like, though, coming through right now, Palantir. We just took another long there. It did dip down. This is what I want to talk about. You're right near that VWAP right there, so we did take a trade. We're waiting for it to pop. If it goes, great. We do have 23.75. You guys know I play those 75, so if it breaks back down below, we'll get out, and then we'll just reinvestigate this trade later. But for now, I like this spot on Palantir. I know it's coming back down. I just want to make sure that we did put that order. Yeah, breaking through 75. It's just, you know what? Look at the NASDAQ. You can see that on the bottom here. Like, this just continues to get hit to the downside, right? So, little foolish if I'm going to sit in the way and hold this position is what I'm feeling. So, let's get some out now. Get some long and then get out if it does break this 75 there on Palantir. For me, well worth the risk reward here on this name. So, we've already seen it go to the upside. It started climbing out of nowhere. So, let's play a dip back to VWAP. You're going to see me do this all the time. Let's see if this can hold. This is Palantir. We just punched that long. So you can see our average price now, 89s. So, I mean, I just got long at 88. That shows you how light we were off that dip. So now let's put on a real position here on Palantir and see if we can get this going to the upside. That's my trade there. And then now we're also average into Softy. So we said we would do this. So here we go now. A nice little bid there on Softy. Let's see if it takes us to the high side now. MSFT looking to see if we get back above 253. Look at our long, 253.70 on the board. So here it comes back up. A nice little 20-cent win, but we want more on this name.
Yeah, and I'm in the money with a buck here. Just got that 700 on Tesla again. So it comes down, so we be patient. As the market was coming down as well with it. It flushed through 700, bounced right back off of 699 here. It retakes it, so we get the long trade, give it to that 99. The last time I had it, I got out for like a quick little $2 scalp trade. I'm gonna do the same thing. Double so because there's a cluster here in that 03 range that we liked before. If it breaks this 02, I get that $2 win, and it breaks through that cluster. I'm not looking for 07s again. I'm probably looking in front of that 705. So back into Tesla after waiting very, very patiently for that move. And every single time I complain about this stock, it's nonsense. All I should do is whine and complain about RIBT not moving. And then I do, and then it flushes down into 170. I just got hit at 128, so no need to move any of my orders up. We're now into the bottom end of the range here, where I think, look, this is where it was to close. This is aftermarket, the dump. This is where it was on that little close trade. It had bounced off of 115, got into the 120 to 125 range, and then held there before closing at 118. That would be my last out. Yesterday's close at 118. I have bids in front of 121. They're all starting to come in, so we'll hit this one where I get all googly-eyed. and money pops out of my mouth, which is a little bit gross. Either way, it's coming out of RIBT. This short trade actually working for me. Why did I not stay short in Pinterest is what I got to think about today.
Yeah, we hit that one and quit that one quick time. But yeah, I don't know. Pinterest
I don't know, man.
on earnings, we are talking about that. I mean, you can't get too upset, but yeah, it's a tough trade there, Pinterest today, just for the longs anyways. The short's been pretty cash. Okay, MindMed now back 6 cents in the money. Will we take it? Will we not? Nobody knows here except for me. I'm going to get out if we get to 30, so that's going to be a little bit of a play there. We'll try to take a 12-cent win on MindMed. It's just not moving. I'm still holding out hope that it wants to go. Thank you so much for that super chat there. It means a lot to us, Scott. You know, we look forward to having more viewers. So if you could share this, thank you so much, Scott. We're really glad you like the content. We're working on new things as we speak, guys, new segments, new everything. So thank you so much for the love there, Scott, on that super chat. Here comes MindMed. Maybe worth taking a piece off right now. Microsoft flying, though, guys. We took that out. You saw that trade come through. So right back up. I mean, this is like a glove, you know, because it's fitting perfectly. I mean, this is exactly the trade that we're talking about here on Softy. Buy the dips and don't worry about it. So there we go. We buy these dips and we worry about it because we have these bottoms. But let's get one more piece out here on a little bit of a bump up here on the NASDAQ. Worth taking some more Microsoft out. Good trade there. Let's take out some MindMed. Let's take out some Microsoft. Good trades there on the longs.
And we're back at Clover. Look, go back at Clover. Now, the long trade was basically a waste of my time because I bungled it to the upside. But the short was good off of like that 10.25 area. It's basically pushed back towards that high. So you look at this top here at like 1060. I got one leg in and I'm waiting for the other because I want it a little bit closer to that high. I want it failing off of that 1060 level before I would think about double dipping, and I'd only catch it on the way down. So if it breaks the high of the day, you'll probably see like a top wick from me here. If you're not willing to make top wick, I've said it like time and time again, then you probably shouldn't be shorting. But I don't want to get more shares until I see it get a little bit closer and fail off of that level. It hasn't happened yet, but it's getting close to doing so. Just showing you guys level 2 here. Not a tremendous amount of offer that you're seeing, but a little bit is starting to stack it up and start to slow it down. I want to catch some more short on this one. I still haven't gotten the first profit-taking target on Tesla. Never got to that 702, so just watching that one out of the corner of my eye because I want to make sure I do take some profit on Tesla so I can maybe rinse and repeat off that 700 level as the market is trying but failing for now to bounce. Here comes that 1060 on Clover, which is the high of the day. It just failed, so I can see if I can pick up some more shares. Again, I get the low 50s. Average price is going to work out to 48, so risking about 15 pennies plus slippage. If it gets to VWAP, no problem. But if I make top wick, got to be able to live with that, guys.
Yeah. When you're throwing around these trades, like so far today, 129 fills, guys, and every single stock positive so far today, pending our Palantir trade. Yo, what up, Trader Joe? Let's go daps up for Trader Joe. Thank you so much for that super chat as well. You know, you're a big follow for me as well on Twitter. Thank you for everything that you send to me. So thank you, Trader Joe, for that. Big shout out to you. Florida in the building there, Brendan.
Florida and nice weather as well. Not here today, however. Let's have a look at the S&P 500, guys, see what is leading the way so far. We are positive, but only just 0.13%. One of those days again today ahead of the Fed. All about this group so far this morning is the energy stocks, the entire thing in positive territory. I mentioned XOM there right out of the gate this morning. So much strength in XOM, 3.25%. HES, Devon, Apache, Marathon, they're all here. 5 to kind of 6.5% for energy stocks. The tech group, on the other hand, offsetting ENPH, ADP, Microsoft, TXN, Micron there. Well, Micron down 3%, I just noticed. FFIV, 10% to the downside. So tech stocks under pressure so far today. One of those boards, again, I mentioned this yesterday, but when we have earnings name, there's individual names that kind of jump off the screen. But overall, the individual groups not really doing a heck of a lot. There's Boeing, obviously. We talked about Boeing, 3.3%. GNRC, another one that reported 3.5% to the downside. So industrials about break even. ROL, we'll have a look. 3.3% to the upside. COF, SYF, and IVZ here in the financials leading the way. HIG lower. Discovery over here, 6% today to the downside. For Discovery, you can look at A or K. Yeah, Google is in the communication services group. I know. but 4.6%, 4.8 for Goog or Goog L after earnings were monstrous for that one. 0.14%, guys, for the S&P. Back over to you.
If you have watched this show enough, then you probably know if I make top wick, which I said I might do, and I did do on Clover there, if it then immediately failed breaks through the top, so it tries to go and then slams back down, I'm just going to jump back into the trade. That's essentially what I've done. It's now trying to hold that high. I rounded 64 is a high. I ran up to 65. So the seller showed up on level 2. I don't know if they're going to still be there to be able to see, but I saw 100,000 shares show up at that 64 level. So re-enter into the trade. We're going to do the same thing over again here. It's a bit of a double top look as well, so fail break through a double top and then take another shot at it here. Of course, the first short was the only one that's actually worked for me. I did finally get Tesla. It did finally get to that 102 mark, sorry, 702 mark, but it hasn't really run from here. So you get a couple of dollars. I'm not going for 707. I'm looking for 705 this time. So last time I just threw an order out, sort of in that $50 to dollar range away from that price. I'm gonna do the same thing here. If it breaks 99s, I'm out and only risking a buck. Brennan had talked about Boxel. I missed out on the chance for, I have that data issue with you as well, Sean. I missed out on that move and double top here at $3. It kind of feels like it wants to give almost everything back. Oh, there's Clover. So that load of poo, I will say, whatever. I can say crap, I suppose. On Clover's first short good, second and third shorts both losers for me. Boxel was a missed opportunity, like I just mentioned. It gave you this consolidation on a lower high at 285. I probably should have looked at that one, but you got to stick to a limited number of stocks. I shouldn't say that. Like, you got to stick to the stocks that you've been covering the best, and I've had some success on Clover, so I kind of went to that well. I've kind of stuck around like trading Pinterest, looking at MBIS. Still haven't made that trade. If it gives me a short off of 25, I still like it. But I went back to Clover because it made sense. And if you have a setup that works, you got to take it. And if you lose on it, that is the cost of doing business. Like, there's no such thing as a strategy that wins 100% of the time. If there is, it's because you're cheating.
Yeah, that's true. I would say that you need to win. Again, a trader like 60-40 is pretty good ratio there. For me, I'm close to 100% though. We have one negative day in April, guys, so far. It's not going to be today either. So a big successful April. Shout out to my man. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Baxter. I'm very, very proud of you. You mean everything to us. So congratulations on that, and keep kicking some butt there in university. I mean, this kid's computer science, economics, everything, and just rocking it. So congratulations to you, Baxter, and a big happy birthday. You know that we love you lots. So good job there. Baxter will be coming home today and celebrating with you. So I'm looking forward to that one. Okay, and I'm also looking forward to Palantir hopefully making some moves today. So we'll see. Does it want to go upside? Yes, it does. It thought it did anyways, and I'm going to say that it does. So we're long Palantir here. It's bounced off VWAP. Let's see if it wants to make a move. We're long at 89 here on PLTR. I love the stock. You guys know that. Let's see if the NASDAQ wants to boom. This is only 5 cents in the money. I do have some offers a little higher than this, 97.98. So let's see if we could just scalp a little bit off here on PLTR, guys.
So if there's a smile on my face, it's because Ribbit just keeps going to the downside. So here's at 120. This closed at 118. And obviously, I don't dwell on losing trades. I tend to think that I can't sit here and talk about this when it's like rolling in the money the entire time. I'd rather show you thought process on what's going on live in Clover, why I get in, why I take the loss, where I'd look to get back in on the reentry and again take the tight stop hit. Now we're getting down to like the nitty gritty for IBT. Now I can hang on to a little bit here, just the pie in the sky that it goes all the way down to like $1, $1.10. But I basically have 10% of the position left. So at this point, it's not that you're sitting there thinking it's insignificant, but the bulk of the shares I wanted out, that second half, the bulk of that second half was always going to be when it's finally breached the pre-market low and then into that chop range. So you have to have a plan of action, I do think, both for winners, losers, and for maybe holding on to something a little bit longer. Now, if we get down to, I guess, this low here at $1.10, $1.11 technically, I'll take some off in front of it. And if it gets back down to penny stock status, I would definitely cover it all in front of one even. So I want to have orders out just in case any of those unlikely events happen. If it goes really, really far in the money for me, or farther, I should say, in the money for me, I'll be happy, but my bids will be out there. After this bit of a flush, I am not averaging back into a short until it gets at least to those mid-30s on RIBT. Miss V is at the screen. What do you got for us?
Hey Neil, Shopify trading in Toronto is a big gainer today. Do you think it's a good time for a short selling position, or you think stock could go even upper? Neil, Sean?
I'm not shorting shop. Well, if you shorted off the even 13,000, 13,000. That would be great if Shopify got there. Please do. If you got 1,300, I should say. If you shorted off of that level, fine. I don't want to stand in front of this one when you've already missed a retracement like that. So it's already come back like $30. That's the reality. And by the way, just to clarify, when it comes to strategy that wins 100%, your net P&L in a day involves multiple strategies, right? So I'm up today, and like Sean, I barely have any LFT, but I'm showing you the last 2 losses. There's no such thing as a setup that wins 100% of the time. That's factually untrue. Anyone that shows you that is definitely untrue. But you can have 10 or 12 setups, and if 7 out of 10 work on a day, you're going to be up on the session. That's what trading is all about, and that's where you get that consistency, by making sure you put emphasis on the trades that work, making sure you stick to your outs on the ones that don't. And to the example here in Shopify, God, no. I've already missed it. Like, if I thought about it, maybe there was a short here off of like 1290 if I was looking at it, but I'm not going to sit there chasing the move that's already happened. It's a great retracement. Was talking with, I guess it was Marlon this morning, was talking about a shop, and this is another one that got missed. There were so many earnings today. I loved it. I loved the long on Shopify. Just never got to take it because I was watching, and I blame MindMed a little bit because I thought there'd be movement. I was watching MindMed off the open for moves, and it did absolutely nothing. Now Tesla, on the other hand, which I did think was going to be good, the first long, much better than the second. It just broke that 99, so we'll take the dollar hit here after making 2. So you make 2. And then lose 1 on the back end of that trade. If it wants to dip further, maybe there's a shot to defend the pre-market lows or the opening range bottom at that like 694 area. Pre-market low 691, but the opening range bottom 694.
Okay, yeah, we're still looking here. I mean, Palantir's not moving, guys, so that may be, expired goods right now. Okay, we're gonna wait to see on MindMed. We did take that out there. We talked about that. I mean, I was wishing for a much bigger move, but we'll take 8 cents there. I mean, unbelievable that we didn't get. I mean, first of all, I was bidding 07s there, and we missed it. It's still in my blotter here. Let me see for how long I was bidding this for. We put that bid in at 9:25 right downside. What time does this hit? 9:57. So just wrong gateway there as it does hit higher MindMed. That would have been the good fill. No idea why I picked 07. Literally just picking a level that was a front of 4, but we picked a little bit too low. We're 07s or 08s, and then maybe we have that whole move on MindMed. But I thought maybe there might be some Reddit power to this, but it doesn't look like there is on this move there, Brendan.
The opposite almost.
Double checking on this one, guys. If you noticed, or anyone noticed, this ELP, there's a little Brazilian energy company that just popped up. It was actually halted until moments ago, or a little while ago, actually. 405%. This has to be a split. I don't see it yet. They did file their yearly report, though, so I'm sure it's in there somewhere. But if you're noticing ELP, 405%, I doubt it, guys.
So just going to come back to, and again, I just showed you guys that Tesla had come out there. So no more trade, but one from earlier in the morning. And I'm not saying I'm going to go bullish on it again, because I'm actually not thinking about that. But if we do retest and break this top, I would actually think about going into the long. If it has the strength to not get to the low and can get back to the top, I think about the long trade. But I don't want to do it in a breakout. I'd probably be looking to fade it, similar to how we tried in MVIS. If we hold below this, and this is what we got it before. If we hold below 68.50, which is exactly what's happening for now on Pinterest, and I wanted to have a consolidation below VWAP where I could try like a short, I guess a tighter stop short, we'll say, off of this 68 to 68.25 area, risking back to like 50s or 60s, and then retesting the bottom. You got to remember, when you pull it back, this is what things look like for Pinterest here. This is what it looks like on the daily chart. This is an overall sort of weak chart. It's not quite at that support at that 65, 66 level. There's still room for it to test it today. So I don't want to get too far away from the short idea, despite the fact that I did try that one long. It's going to be another short for me between the 68 to VWAP, and then give it a relatively tight stop here. If it does pop through highs, make something like a crazy move, there's always that chance that I get the shot to short it at 71, 71.5 in the afternoon, or even at that 3:15 show. That's a long ways away. Got to trade the action in front of you here today, and you guys got to go to Brendan at the big screen for Money Talks.
Hey guys, yeah, currency time. Let's have a look at what is happening so far today. Overall dollar weakness, US dollar weakness ahead of the Fed coming up, 2 p.m. For the Fed. No one's expecting a change, but we always got to pay attention to what is said. So pretty much everything here higher on the day outside of the Swiss franc, Bitcoin as well. We'll get to that in a sec. But Swiss franc downside, everything else higher, including the Canadian dollar, 0.3%. Not huge gains for the rest. Turkish lira up about 0.3%. New Zealand here about 0.5% as well. That's the line I left on the chart actually from yesterday for Ethereum, which was that all-time high. We're obviously significantly higher than that again today. So Ethereum showing its strength once again, 2.5% today. We did reach all-time highs earlier. We're off that slightly at this point. Ripple downside 5.5%. Bitcoin, yeah, it was positive early on, but down 1% here. Did try to test that 55,000 level again, but we're pulling back a little bit for Bitcoin, guys. Back over to you.
That Swiss franc reminds you of something, Neil, but I can't remember the guy's name. He's one of your artists. What's his name?
My favorite artist, contemporary artist, is Ryan Leslie.
That's what it is.
And Swiss francs is a hell of a song. I happen to like it. Whatever. Bill's foreign, Swiss francs.
That's what it is.
Before I die, I want my money in a Swiss bank, which is not what it used to be, right? Because now they crack down on little tax havens. So I guess it's not.
They do?
He should update.
Uh-oh.
Hey, man, watch out for the crib.
Yeah, no, we're just playing around. Yeah, pay your taxes.
Always pay
Hey,
your
taxes due, Neil.
I pay all my taxes.
Yeah, well, you have to. I mean, right now, taxes. Oh, I just missed it. Taxes due April 30th, guys, midnight. File those away and pay for those roads, as we need more roads and more healthcare, which apparently is great. Okay, $23.95 right now. We just took a little piece off there. This is crazy. Like, it's crazy to do this. Like, we're long 88s, and I'm 6 pennies in the money and taking it. But we do have another offer at 97 to get out, and then hopefully we can get back up here. It's like, even if this whole move happens, guys, it's 20 pennies. So when I'm in the money 7 pennies, that's kind of a third of the way out. We only took out 10%. So the math, working out pretty good on that trade. Let's wait to see where it goes from there. But yeah, Neil just talked about pins. I want to talk about it as well, but he went over some levels there, so nothing really to do. MindMed not doing anything. Let's check back over on MVIS quickly. The trade where really, like, if I can, like, fall off the face of the earth. Oh, come on. Don't tell me my chart's going to do this again. There it goes. At least it loaded there. Okay. I haven't seen that one in a while. I mean, it was a good trade. I'm positive on it. So like Neil was saying there, you have positive expectancy on some of these trades. We still are positive on this. I mean, there's really no losers here. It's just, wow. Microvision here. Rate to the upside there. Still making moves higher there. Yeah, of course it's Microvision, not MicroStrategy. I got Bitcoin on my mind. Up to $25 now. Congratulations again, anybody that was able to hold this. Like, I just saw some disasters possibly happening when we broke, like, right here. That's, this is what scared me off of that trade. If it didn't scare you and you had a little bit lower, then that's great. Like, realistically, you could have given it, I mean, that would have been close to getting knocked out there. 21.25. You could have given it back to 21, which were some pre-market levels. And again, guys, just congratulations anybody that was able to hold MVIS. What a runner. Like, missed opportunity of the day for sure there, MVIS. So I think we both, did you actually get a trade on this one? Oh yeah, you were trading it back and forth. Both of us stopped.
Worst long trade ever is all I got to say about MVIS. Now it's at that 25 mark. So,
it's unbelievable.
I mean, I said I would short in front of that 25. I got 91 to the short side here, but what I can tell you is that it's strong. I was about to add to it. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be adding to it when I was out of my mouth and telling you guys it looks strong into that level. So I was about to take a third short, and then I'm like, no, let's just leave it at what we already got. If it makes a pullback here, I mean, you start to like 24.50 even, like for just like a 40-cent win, that's a reasonable first out. And look, the stock was at $21. I know it's crazy to say. It was at 19 when we did our closing show. But when you do these little short trades, it's not about hitting the home run. I always say that, well, it makes sense for me. You scalp some off just so that if you're going to take this trade, and you saw what we did in Clover when it takes a hit, if you're not going to take a little bit off here for some profit so that if it just consolidates at the top and breaks out, That's a small win. And when you're going counter trend, you got a good price. Any pause is at least a decent idea to have had that price in the first place. I always want to make sure I make something on those trades. If it flushes into 24, fantastic. If it gets to VWAP, unlikely, I'd even say. Unlikely this move takes me all the way back into VWAP without at least a second retest of the high of the day. And you can't get back in or rinse and repeat if you don't take profit in the first place. Otherwise, that's just called averaging in, taking more shares, and building a bigger and bigger position and not really realizing any gains. I don't think that's a good thing to do on a stock as strong as this. That's just my 2 cents. And by the way, Pinterest is in the money. I'm not going to celebrate it. Microvision short is obviously a little more risky than Pinterest short today. That goes without saying.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so that's another top at 25. Neil just talked about it, so we'll move on from that one. MindMed not doing anything. Palantir, man, we took a little bit out again. Come on, charts. We took another bit out there at 94, so some double outs there, 10%, 20%. Still holding, man. We'll see where it wants to go. Check back in on AMD. I know there's a lot of talk there. Trying to bounce here a little bit, but I mean, we did turn red on this name, which is a surprise. Oh man, that NVIDIA short, where's that now? Oh, we talked about this 617 short rate there. That would have been $5. We didn't take it, and that's my bad because we did talk about that one. So, damn it, should have had it. Now I'm looking though, maybe this is too low here for AMD. It's given that all back, and it's funny because Ray, when we had Mark on the show, both he and I talked about possibly trimming some of this. I didn't though, but we would have got into this area. I think would maybe worth it, 92, 93, but right back down to 84. Let's see if AMD wants to go. We can look at a larger time frame if we did want to, and maybe that will give us something later on in about 15 minutes. We do have what we're pretty excited about it. And I actually, oh my God, I haven't opened this yet, but this is another one for Hydration Nation. So a few different options there. Neil and Brendan drinking the bottled water, and we have like the gallon jug here. I don't know. I don't even know. I didn't even look at how. Yeah, 1 gallon. There it is. So that's going to be coming on. Alkaline Water Company. Aaron Key, the chairman, coming through. So we are very, very excited for that in just a couple minutes. Look, water's been hot. Brendan will talk about this with him during the segment. But Nestle, there's been a lot. Coca-Cola, there's been a lot of competition sort of eating up some of these guys. So you may want to take a look there at that play. And okay, AMD, we'll hear more about it when they come. AMD on an 85 break, man. Enough is enough. Let's try 85 one more time here on AMD. 85 break long. We'll give it back, I don't know, 25 cents or so. So let's try a break on 85, but it has to break first. We're not going to step in front of the train. We're going to try to play momentum long side there as Palantir back up, Microsoft and MindMed all in the money, but nothing to celebrate right yet.
Yeah, I'm going to hit the approved for a couple of comments. One, thank you guys. Thank you for the super chat, Fat Slapper, putting the news on Microvision. Yeah, you're absolutely right about it, but I sort of just went over. You're going to see it break the high here. This is the reason why you take a scalp trade. And I said, take some out for a scalp trade. And I didn't add to it the third time. It just felt like I said, it was a little bit too strong there. You take the scalp for some of it out. Then when it breaks the high of the day, it's either not a losing trade for you, or you can think about, I did reverse into the long here, or it's either not a losing trade for you, it's about a flat trade, it's at least taking something, or it's a smaller loss. That's what it's all about. And then, I don't want to miss the name up here, guys, but it was, what was it? It was a puppy something. I'm going to mess it. It was Puppy Slaps, Boxer Puppy Central, sorry. Mentioning the 24-40 area in trend lines. I used to use trend lines when I started out in my career. I got way away from that. Not a bad idea. Maybe I'll start jumping into some trend lines and looking at them again. Always worth revisiting past things that worked for you, even if they didn't or they stopped working for a period of time. Always worth learning. Always worth going back to the well, adapting your strategy. So I haven't looked at trend lines in quite some time. Not a bad idea for some of these runners here. I tend to use those key historical prices and then reading the tape a little bit better. I have my second long here in MBIS. The first one stunk. Obviously, you can see that. Should have given it more room. Let's see how far this one goes off the 25 break. I don't have anything obvious here when it comes to levels to the upside other than those quarters, 50s, and dollars. So let's see what happens in VIS. If you can't beat them, join them. Pinterest did get a profit target out. That short seems obviously safer, I should say.
Okay, so did I even put in that? Yeah, I did. Okay, I was going to make sure. I want to make sure I put in that order for AMD coming upside. So Yeah, people talking about Dasani water. I don't know. That's a Coke product, I think. Banned in the UK. Okay, I don't know anything about that, so we won't comment on it. But this water tasty for sure. Okay, Neo, another name. Oh, that's what I want to talk about. We've got some love for skills here today on the show. People asking about, where do we think there's maybe some support, things like that. I mean, the support is pretty obvious to me, and it's at 19. Again, like there's so much data I'm missing. I mean, Brendan, you said maybe change my neutral color there. I did that. I don't know. I'm gonna have to fool around with the charts after, but this is obviously not the way skills looks. But down here, 19. I'm gonna look at a 20-minute chart as well here for you guys. This, 19s came back. Even if you go back to like the 22nd, 23rd or so, 19's held. But really, I put down a mark here last couple of days. It was when we were trading it, that skills came down to 17, and that might have been a good hold, but I think that's been bumped up now. Between 18 and 1850, for anybody asking like where I would give skills back down to the downside, it needs to probably break 18. So I feel the same way about a strong 18 bottom as I did about that strong 17. So that's where I like skills. Brendan?
Yeah, I was just actually looking at this BTX chart as well. So it's definitely not what I mentioned, Sean. That's color, because mine is all over the place as well with data holes everywhere. But nevertheless, Brooklyn Immunotherapeutics back to the upside again today. This one's had 3 or 4 days straight higher so far, 30 up here, just being tested right now, 20% again for BTX.
There's an old saying, and it's whatever. If you can't beat them, join them. So after that embarrassing long trade, 'cause that was terrible. Like, even though this short was a muted success, I would say, I don't mind it. Like, it fit my style, it fit the setup. I think this consolidation long, I should have been either, one of two things. I should have been either willing to give it past this little cluster here at like 23.10, or, thought of it averaging in or something along those lines, or getting out and getting back in when it retook it. Just something a little bit more disciplined than just, covering it for a tight stop when clearly the trend was to the upside. It got the long trade. 25.15 ends up being the price we're getting most of the shares here on that break, by the way. Some at 10s, but then I got the rest of them actually above that price. My last entry at 17, believe it or not. I said I'd get some out in front of the 50 because I have no other levels. So a couple of legs out here in front of 25.50. Now I just want to see if it can hold. A pullback would be healthy at a 25 before bouncing again. So hopefully it's got legs to 26. If you look at pull up the 15-minute chart, after that little low that we're playing off of that 25, next stop up, there was that 28 absolute flush off of the open yesterday, if you guys were watching the show. So if it gets there, I'll definitely be flat. Next stop, hopefully, is 26, though.
Okay, Palantir, man, we took some out there. I'm just looking at some of the trades that we still have on board right now. Palantir, MindMed. Oh, MindMed. Okay, MindMed. MindMed breaking now. Hey. A little bit out of the blue here. Let's find that psychedelic as MindMed continues to go upside right now. So really happy with the way this one's turning out. It's actually caught me off guard there. Wasn't even noticing it. Right back up to this side. So let's go MindMed. A nice little long here, man. We're long 15 cents in the money. Will it hold? Nobody knows, but I'm going to take the risk and say that it does, man. We go to 450 here on MindMed. So a good mover. Let's just continue to trade that name. Upside, MindMed. Let's see how far this one wants to go, and it looks like it wants to go now. The volume picking up again. I'm glad Mark Roberts was talking about volume there. I gotta look more at what the volumes are here. Now it's starting to ramp up. Let's go, MindMed. Here we go, man. Yeah, a little bit of face slapper now. MindMed, Rip City for me here. Good move to the upside. MindMed, there's 50. We just talked about this. MindMed going off now. Volume coming in. We like ye a lot. A nice little 30-cent win here on MindMed. Let's keep this party going. Let's go, MindMed. Maybe that's a mistake, but I'm going to hold on to this one. See if we can't get going now. Up 10%. MNMD.
And a couple of things we'll do here. One, we'll power up because, by the way, like while all that was happening in NBIS, we did talk about that Pinterest short. It rolls into this, and I took targets out here on the way down initially, and it was at 67.75, and then in front of that 50. Doing the same thing here on that same rollover, just as it tries to stall out. So I still got that 68.19 short. It's in the money about 50 pennies. I said it would be healthy if NBIS pulled back into that 25 range. It did. I got some teens again. If it presses back up to that 25-50 area, I'm going to take some out within that range. It's going to always make sense to me. So, long in the teens, scalp some out in front of that 25-50, try to hold the core position to see if it's got juice up to 26. That's the name of the game for me. So Pinterest short, which I never should have got away from in the first place. MVIS long, which I should have been in the first place, or at least holding the first one. You got to be able to sort of instantly evaluate like the things you could do better and then rectify them in real time. So I knew with Pinterest that I wanted to be short all day long here today. I got away from it for the long trade, got right back into finding a good short.
And there it is, man. You might have just heard me say bang right there. Microsoft, man, we just took that 20 cents win. Now we hold for more, man. This has been a great stock. Unfortunately, I have this wick there. I got to take it out. I'll have to edit that again. But yeah, 254. Good trade on Softy, man. Big. Like this day, started off questionable because we were long AMD. We only have one negative stock today, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to go 6 for 7, it looks like today on names, but the one that's been hurting the most was AMD. But thank God we stopped that noise because this name just kept on coming to the downside. Long. This one we made money there getting out here, but we did hold the rest for getting out, try another move out, and then now we're waiting, man. An 85 break, which almost happened. We're going to wait to go long through 85 here on AMD. So that's really the only losing trade that we have. I mean, we can review them all if you want. I mean, MindMed, I just talked about it. Microsoft has been one of my big stocks all day. We're very light now on Microsoft. I'm almost out of everything as the NASDAQ's fallen. So I feel blessed that NASDAQ is still there. We are negative. One other stock here. Palantir, we went short here and we went a little negative and then long and out. And now we're long here again, but it's position pending. We'll be positive on Palantir by the time this is all done. So 6 for 7, not bad. Anyways, good trading today, but you got to be risk tolerant, right? You got to pick your stocks, pick your levels, and then make sure that you follow them. Neil's talked about that a lot today with his Pinterest trades, Clover trades, great trades on Tesla over there. And again, like if you leave your Tesla trades, I think you were long, right? Like with the market tanking, you got to have your levels. Because as you mentioned, Neil, if you hold on all day to everything, man, sometimes it's a good strategy. Most of the time, it's not.
That's the thing. In investing, if investing you hold on to Tesla forever, you're probably okay, right? Like the same thing with any quality name or quality company. This is actually, I'm not saying I wish Tesla had come down, but as you said that, Sean, I mean, I did get it when it broke 99 for the dollar hit. It actually is held up at 97. So Tesla, despite the market coming in, it's managed not to fall any further, which I suppose is a bit of a good sign here for Tesla. I can maybe revisit that long and little earlier. That's maybe that's some debt issue, but that's a thin move in back there. But either way, I want to come back to MVIS. One of the reasons why I said it'd be healthy if it dipped back into 25 there. There's a little bit of a gap in the chart, but anyways, it'd be healthy if it moved back into that range at 25 because it gives you the dip buy, it gives you a shot or another shot to scalp it for a 25-cent win. When it retook that 25, I'm just going to get out. If it's a price that I was looking at previously to short it, there's only so many times I'm willing to go long when it breaks that level. So I was able to make the money back for the long side of the trade that we lost on that. Well, actually ended up not losing much in the short. So we make some money back, get back to Greensville on stock. The bigger hit was actually the first long trade. So I'm not saying it's done or it's going to be no longer a long trade. It's just that when I take a breakout this late in the day or that late in the move, I have to have some kind of an out. I would have loved to hold. I would have held it all day long if it didn't retest and give me the re-entry point at 25 even. If it dips into VWAP, I think we can possibly look for that trade again at 23.50 for sure on MVIS, guys. I don't think there's any stretch of the imagination that this is going to be done for us. The same way I anticipate there's a shot I could be short in. Come on, Pinterest. Low the load all day. Well, for some reason, it doesn't want to load. You can see my execution showing up on the chart, but for some reason, it wants to be slow to load. I can go to my 15 just to show you guys here. I'm in the short once again. If it holds the low of the day, I'll probably look to get out if it bounces off of 67, maybe take it out for like $1 winner or so, maybe like a 70-cent win, just in case it bounces too harsh off. But I'd like to hold this through a break of 67 of the low of the day, which it couldn't do before when we were shorting it multiple times. If it doesn't here, I want to hold through the low of the day instead of taking it out at the low of the day like we did at the open. I know we both took it out in front of 67. This time I want to hold.
Yep. Look, and that's the thing, right? We're talking about strategies, making sure that you hit them. And then here goes Microsoft, man. Bang! Another big winner for us on Microsoft. So let's do some backflips now. We get some out there, but now it's retracing back. Let's go to VWAP. This is a 70-cent winner right now on Microsoft. And yeah, we're getting elevated because again, you know, we've called this Microsoft. We love this trade. And there it goes, man, on earnings today, down 3%. Can't keep a good stock down, or can you? We'll wait to see. But Microsoft right now, beautiful move back up, 70 cents now in the money. MindMed tests that 50. This is 30 cents in the money. This is a $4 name, right? So $4, 30 cents in the money on $4. We'll take that 8% right now. But hey, I still have higher expectations. Funny we say that, higher expectations, pun not intended, believe it or not, on that one. But we'll wait to see if MindMed here wants to get going. But good name, has the volume. The volume just picked up there. That's what we're looking for. So a nice little volume spike there on MNMD. And again, you know, big move yesterday in MindMed. All the way to the downside there, was down that 18%, I believe. I can't remember the exact number, but it already made some bottoms. And then look where this bottom coincided with yesterday's closing area. So good trade. Let's see if we can't revisit. Like, I'm looking honestly like around here, 470, 475 for MNMD. Let's hope that that can go. And I may just get out of this Microsoft, man. The Nasdaq's making moves downside. Let's take the 60 cents and run, guys. Good trading on Microsoft today.
You had me. What was it?
We're out.
So you said higher expectations, and I'm like, what is that Mad TV skit again? It was lowered expectations. I was like, yeah, that was classic. I love that show. And shout out to Key and Peele, who are unbelievable coming away from it and having their own careers, which is fantastic. It is what it is. I'm a big fan of those guys. I'm a big fan of Spotify. We show the winning trades, and we show like what I feel are learning opportunities. And I came in and I liked 260 as a defense level on spot. And I said, I think we all said, even Mark said, that this felt like it was beaten up too much. Sometimes you get the sentiment too much in one direction, maybe too strong of a bias, which I think happened here, that I knew I wanted to buy the dip. So instead of waiting for 260, I got in at the pre-market low, got stopped out with a tight stop with the idea of revisiting it down here in the low of the day. I never ended up getting into that trade. You're going to see it rebound all the way back to this 270 level, which, you know, actually maybe gives you a bit of a break later on in the session. If it can hold around VWAP here, I know the chart looks spotty, but trust me, it's on solid volume here, 3.5 million shares. If it gets back to like a 265 and can hold VWAP, this could be a solid one here for a secondary push up. Just remember, the market is coming to the downside. Like if the NASDAQ breaks 13.9, holds below it, and maybe if the ES turns negative, I would throw that out the window. I wouldn't be going long at VWAP or off the bottom on a stock. It's down 9% after earnings, if the market is making some fresh lows on the day. So throw that all out the window on buying the dip or buying bottoms if you are seeing a market below that 13.9 mark on the NASDAQ and the ES in the red territory.
All right, guys, we are getting ready for our guest of the day. It should be a good one, man. And like we've said, we've been drinking it. I haven't popped this yet, but very tasty water there. Alkaline 88. Let's throw it over to Brendan. Let's go.
Guys, thanks so much. Yeah, the water industry, not one we talk about very often on the show, but it continues to be an ever-expanding industry, gaining momentum and traction on a daily basis. The Alkaline Water Company leading the way, or one company leading the way in that group. And Aaron Kay is chairman of the Alkaline Water Company and joins us on the show today. It's great to have you on the show, Aaron. Welcome, first of all. Great to have a chance to talk about this industry that, as I mentioned, is not one that is mentioned too often, but continues to gain traction. Tell us a little bit about the Alkaline Water Company taking a little bit of a different approach here.
Yeah, I don't know if we're taking a completely different approach, but the company's been around for approximately 8.5, 9 years now. And we really pioneered the large bottle format that the trader, I don't know his name, but he just popped up saying he hasn't cracked it, but we've got to get him drinking that for sure. But we were really the first company to enter into the large bottle format in the premium water category. And that's a category that's continued to expand and it's been one of the fastest growing categories in the beverage sector.
The sense of the alkaline side of things is what I was referring to there. Let's talk about alkaline in general first to start things off, just so everyone understands what it is we're talking about. Tell us a little bit about the process that is required to get a product onto the shelf that is called alkaline and what that means.
Yeah, so for us, we co-pack, which has been a growing trend in the category because it decreased costs for startup companies and smaller companies emerging into the water category, the beverage sector. So we go in and it's really just an electric purification system that goes in, proprietary, and it's really two things. It's purified water and Himalayan rock salts that creates that nice thick film that, for viewers, they could really resonate with the taste profile to like Fiji over the years for kind of more of an international type brand.
And when it comes to the benefits, maybe fill people in here on the actual benefits of consuming a product like this, because it does benefit you in many different ways.
For sure. I mean, we always need to be really careful about health benefits, just because we got to be FDA approved with comments we make around that. But it's well known that folks that follow the alkaline diet globally are big consumers of the alkaline water, and they do that for things like relaxation, anti-inflammation, especially when you're consuming different types of foods of the alkaline diet.
So Alkaline 88, if you are looking for the products, guys, on a retail basis, tell us about the name, the Alkaline 88 brand name that we see on these bottles. We can show these again, guys, if you want to pull that up. There you go. So that is the brand name that you'll find on store shelves. Tell us about Alkaline 88.
So back when we started the company, nobody really looked at the alkaline category as an emerging beverage or water category. We were the first to really trademark the name alkaline on the bottle. And fortunately for us, high pH is what resonates with alkaline. And we are the ones that trademarked that. And then at that time, the trace minerals and vitamins that were in there were 88. So we mixed it together, and it's been a winner so far.
Concept. As you mentioned, the first really are pioneering the way on the 1 gallon size, which is very convenient. And I have to say, I love the handles that you put on the bigger bottles. Is very convenient. The company also offers CBD products as well. Let's explore that end of the product line here a little bit. Which was first, I guess, to start things off, the premium water on its own, and then how did we end up getting into CBD?
Yeah, great question. So the water business itself has been around for a lot longer than the CBD category. The CBD category emerged as cannabis emerged, and we looked at it because of our national distribution and how we could sell things like gummies, CBD powder packs, or our leading CBD water. So amongst that, we've also added things like flavors into those products as well, which is in line with our infused water category that we also have that came out of adding different SKUs.
When it comes to the most popular now, everyone obviously, I guess, getting more used to CBD products, and there's more interest surrounding the products itself. Is there maybe one or two that have stood out as your best sellers at this point?
Yeah, the FDA is regulating the category quite closely. So there's your ingestibles line, which fits our category really well because of consuming water, and then there's your topicals. We have a pretty good blend. I would say our deep relief cream in the topicals is leading, and then things like our powder packs, which is a really strong emerging category, especially around COVID. They're starting to do extremely well as our gummies in the ingestible side.
Aaron Kay is chairman of the Alkaline Water Company, joining us today on the show. Let's talk a little bit about going forward here. Regulations obviously continue to be changed ever so slightly over time, depending on the state that you are in the U.S., with more favorable lawmaking decisions coming. What does that mean for a company that operates in the CBD space?
It's still kind of an unknown, to tell you the truth. I mean, I was really fortunate to live through cannabis emerging in Canada from, still what was a gray and black market to emerging companies that raise billions and billions of dollars. I believe that where we have a distinct advantage is that if CBD is allowed to cross state lines, and supermarkets and pharmacy chains are going to be allowed to carry the product, that with our national distribution in all the household retailers, that we're going to be able to plug in things like our CBD water, powder packs, gummies, topicals, right into that distribution chain, which makes it easier for consumers to get because they already know our existing brand of Alkaline 88.
So the company operates primarily in the U.S., recently announced an expansion into Mexico. Tell us a little bit about the Mexico expansion and the thought behind that. And then is there more expansion coming for the Alkaline Water Company?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we already know from our distribution and sales numbers in the United States that the Hispanic community for sure is a huge consumer of alkaline water, and that's shown through their own country and the brands that are down there. So we had lots of discussions going on for quite a long time to come down there. So that made logical sense. And it's also just south of the border in the U.S. where we already, have a great presence. I would say I think we also come into Canada, which is another logical step, and then it gives us distribution through the entire continent. And then from there, we'll reset. We'll be moving towards our goal of around 100 million in sales. And then will we look internationally? I'd say the answer is probably yes.
Down the road a little bit further, then let's talk about plans for the company here. Is the company itself maybe aligning itself or a good takeover target at some point?
Yeah, I mean that's the the big question with all emerging beverage brands. And if you look at what happened to start this year, Essentia, which is the leader in the premium water space, alkaline high pH category, they were acquired by Nestle. And it's pretty well known that Global Beverage has made some great inroads into the premium space and really increased the quality of their water products because the consumers are asking for that. So I think if you look at us, we're one of the last, if not maybe the last independent brand available. And given the fact that we're publicly traded, I think it puts us in a really, really good position to be acquired in hopefully the coming years.
Appreciate your time. Aaron Kay, chairman of the Alkaline Water Company, joining us today. I have to tell you, Aaron, I had to actually hide or set these aside. So we made sure we had some to actually show for this segment, or they would have been gone immediately when you sent it. We appreciate both the water and your time today. Best of luck.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the time.
There you go, guys. A look at WTER. Go check it out. Listed on the NASDAQ and the CSE here in Canada. Guys.
I don't know what you're talking about. I wasn't trying to steal any of them to take home. That was mostly Arun, Brendan.
It was mostly Randy.
Well, yeah, it was Arun and Randy that were like, yeah, let's just take it home and steal all the water for themselves because whatever, they're jokers around here. Fantastic interview as always. We like to have a little bit of fun, but yeah, there were a few people that wanted to take it home. I can't even lie about it. I just want to come back to, we have about 6 minutes to go before the end of the show, so I just do want to recap a few things. I'm still in that pins trade, and I did say, oh goodness, are you kidding me? There's that 1 minute chart, a bit of an issue. I'll go back to the 15 because that's working for me rather nicely. I did say I want to hold through a break of the low at 67. Now, there was that daily chart, that 65 to 66 area where I did want to take a bit of a defensive, a long trade if I could at some point. So if it breaks 67, I'm willing to get out in front of 66. I only say that now because we're testing that low where we got out the first time. I know it was a good profit take. It just absolutely slammed back to the upside. If it does the same thing again, I'm not going to turn the winning trade into a losing trade, but I do want to see if it has some more juice to the downside, which I got away from probably a little bit too early on pins in general. Just to come back to, I'm not in NVIS here, but just worth noting, it is back at that 25 mark, and I'm only giving you this look because I did take that long trade a couple of times through 25 and then got out in front of that 50. If it can actually press through this time, I still think there's some juice to 27.50, but there's a bit of a battle waging here around that 25 mark. The second time it dipped in, I was able to scalp 25 cents off again, and then lost 18 when my teens short broke through that 25 even. So I'm flat on MVIS, still room to run if the Bulls can win at 25, but it is absolutely battling here at that price.
Yeah, there's a big, again, you're going to see that. Hopefully we're talking about that in the afternoon as well. MindMed, another move. Just, it made the move. I just want to say another move. It didn't move up. It came back down, almost came to VWAP there. And you could see now, now we're just talking pennies. It went down to 38, but VWAP's really at 32. So if you do like this name, I think there's a buying opportunity in the 30s here. And then you could hold it to see where we go on the upside. But again, a nice little 11% today for MindMed, battling back from yesterday's sort of destruction to the downside. But we were already higher than this. I still think we get to that level. Big earnings tonight, man. I mean, Facebook's coming through. The big guy, Apple's coming through. Facebook today up that 1% despite NASDAQ being down 0.32. So maybe there's something there if you guys are looking at that. Facebook's held this little bottom of 305 all day today. It actually held 306, but you do have that 305.50 level, the kind of one that we're looking at in case it does break, but doesn't look like it wants to. So that's Facebook today. And then look, join us back at 3:15 for our afternoon show. We'll be going over all this. Apple also down today. Again, a lot of wicks here. We'll get that cleaned up. About a 135. I'm very, very bullish about Apple earnings, but the problem is very, very similar to Softy there. Get this out of the way if we can zoom up. There it is. We've already broken out. This was if Apple was still here, 126, then I would say, the earnings report on a beat, nicely upside. But you saw Microsoft hovering around highs on the daily, right? And then that's sort of what's happening here. So I believe that, it's going to have to be a big report to get back into the 140s, and I think that's what's going to happen. So I'm calling Apple tomorrow to be in and around this range, like 139, 140. It's only $6 up. If they miss, then we'll retest this 50 period, which is a screaming buy for me. So either way, guns loaded tomorrow for Apple, guys. Brendo?
Okay, yeah, you mentioned a couple of them here. Let's have an official look at a very busy board. Great job by V here on fitting all these in. Wow.
What the? Okay, so I like Bristol Myers. I can't even talk too much about this, but congratulations to Valeria as she rocked this one. Like, how you fit all there, like even little hidden ones like Royal Caribbean right there under Bristol Myers, Qualcomm. Oh, my big guy Ford. Oh my God, I'm not going to sleep tonight. I own McDonald's. Oh my God, there's a lot of names on there, guys, but I'm excited about the ones in the middle. And Ford, add Ford to the list. Let's see if it breaks 1250.
Interesting Teladoc too, because that's fallen out of favor a little bit. I think there's going to be a buying opportunity at some point. Teladoc, I've missed it all the way, and the pullback has possibly given you a shot there. Wowzers. That is a lot to look at, but like we did today, we will always venture to do our best to get you a fantastic watch list. Trade what is moving. Trade the setups that work for you. Make sure you put capital to work in all of the right places. That's what we're all about. And we'll get to some of those names certainly at the close. Today from 3:15 to 4 o'clock when we do that power hour, man, it moves fast. And man, this day has moved fast as well. We get to find out what national day it is. Oh my. Let's go to Miss V to see what it is.
Thank you, Neil. And hey, guys, thank you for spending another trading morning with us. I hope you're all doing great. And come back at 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time to daily trade the close and sum up the trading day with us. Well, guys, happy National Blueberry Pie Day.
Oh my goodness!
I like the sprinkle of the sugar on top of there.
I'm a pie versus cake type of person, whether it's blueberry, pecan, it doesn't make a difference. Apple pie is a classic as well. So any and all for me, that's what I'm all about. Brennan, your thoughts?
Of course, it's pie, of course. I was just noticing somebody was saying we should collage that NFT that earnings board, which I think is a fantastic idea.
That's a great idea.
On a daily basis, guys,
You win,
during these crazy days for earnings. So many.
Yeah, it's going to be a big day, man. We're super excited. You saw us trade today, AMD, Softy, Pinterest, some of those other movers as well. Tesla yesterday, Tesla today for Neil, Shopify. We looked at that for you guys today. So tomorrow, obviously, there's tons and tons. A snap is snapping? Okay, that's funny. Okay, but 1250 here, that's what we're talking about on Ford. Again, missing a lot of data in here apparently now. So there's not too much to look at here, but yeah, we're very, very excited about everything. I own those McDonald's shares as well, so we'll see. That's been on a nice run lately. But yeah, big time movements coming here, but we're not done, man. Join us at 3:15. We're back in 3 hours. We'll be back. So join us then. It's been a big morning. It'll be even a bigger afternoon. I promise you that.
Yeah, better believe it. We'll grab a bite to eat and trade the afternoon. Come back at the close. You do not want to miss it. Earnings are always a catalyst for that 45 minutes of trade into 4 o'clock. For the entire team, for Ms. V, looking sharp and an unbelievable job on that board. That was so busy.
That's a great board.
For Sean Katina and Brennan Wickens, I'm Neil Roberts. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Trader TV Live. We'll see you at the close. Bye, guys.
Bye, Med.